125th birth anniversary of ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, by devotees glorifying Srila Prabhupada. We are very fortunate to get this opportunity of glorifying Srila Prabhupada with all our heart for all the mercy he has given to us. Let us start with sincere and loving prayers to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarni Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada, please accept our most humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet on this most auspicious occasion of your Vyasa Puja celebration, the 125th anniversary of your appearance. All glories to your divine grace. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Vasudeva Gosha, an eternal associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, expressed this thought, Yadi Gaura na hoito, tabe ki hoito. If Lord Gaura had not appeared, then what would have become of us? Similarly, His Holiness Jaipataka Swami Maharaj said, Yadi Prabhupada na hoito, tabe ki hoito. We simply cannot imagine what our current situation would be if you had not appeared, O Prabhupada. No one showered as much mercy as Srila Prabhupada has upon the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. It is by the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada that today we are practicing Krishna consciousness. We shall remain forever indebted to Srila Prabhupada. On this wonderful occasion, let us all pray to Srila Prabhupada to please grant us service to his lotus feet so that by serving him, we may be able to make rapid progress in our endeavors in spiritual life. Today, as devotees glorify Srila Prabhupada, we will also be providing a report on the progress made by Hare Krishna Temple of Austin to Srila Prabhupada. With that, devotees, we will start our first glorification by Abhay Prabhu and Rohini Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarini Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasade Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Satyasara Prabhu, Jai Shodha Mataji, Veena Mataji and devotees for giving me opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada on the 125th anniversary of his appearance. So I was trying to contemplate hard what should I say during my allotted time. When I objectively looked at my qualities, I found no good qualities at all. What is my qualification to be a part of the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Lord Krishna himself? Nothing. So having lived a life full of materialism and sin, I don't deserve to represent anything meaningful. Then how did this good fortune came up to me to serve Lord Krishna, serve the devotees, sing the glories of the Lord and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? It is only possible due to the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada brought this mercy, this knowledge of Krishna consciousness to our doorsteps. Without this knowledge, I would have remained in the illusion that I am leading a good life. I have my comforts, my luxury around me, and I'm making sure that there are minimal worries I have to deal with. And I'm making sufficient efforts to make me and my family happy. But by reading Srila Prabhupada's book, we understand that this definition of living a life is just not enough, but in fact, totally wrong, as it would result in material entanglement and more sufferings. So I'm sure that reading Srila Prabhupada's book is a shift of paradigm for myself and maybe millions like me. So why would Srila Prabhupada do this? Coming to United States at the age of 69 years, going through endless difficulties, trying to spread Lord Chaitanya's mission and writing all these books. What would he be thinking in his mind and heart? He must be thinking of suffering souls like us. According to Chaitanya Bhagavat Antya 4.126, Prathvite ache yata nagaradi grama sarvatra prachara haive mora nama. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in every town and village, the chanting of my name will be heard. And Srila Prabhupada fulfilled Mahaprabhu's prophecy by bringing this moment to the rest of the world. That is his compassion. That is his mercy. He felt the pain and distress of others. By his sacrifices and selfless effort, he provided us a spiritual shelter. And this shelter is available to everyone. There is no discrimination for any caste or creed. This Krishna conscious movement is for everyone. And that is the sign of a true saint. And this greatness of Srila Prabhupada is exemplified by his name, Prabhupada. Prabhu means master and Pad means feet, meaning one at whose feet all the masters sit, the greatest spiritual master of the world. Srila Prabhupada, on this special occasion of 125th anniversary of your appearance, I pray at your lotus feet to help me always remain fixed at the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna and serve their beloved devotees. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Adhishtarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamam Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Srila Prabhu, Jai Subhadra Mataji and Veena Mataji, for giving me this opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada for my purification. I have experienced Srila Prabhupada's greatness, his compassion, and his mercy through his devotees. People call America as a land of opportunity, prosperity. But when Srila Prabhupada came to America, he only saw how people are suffering. And he gave them opportunity to come out of this illusionary happiness. And in form of ISKCON, he gave real path to happiness and prosperity by serving the lotus feet of the Lord. When I came to US and I saw people, some people giving sermons on Bible, explaining Bible in details, I was thinking how good it would have been if there is someone who could explain our scriptures like that. And we used to live in an apartment, and I used to see early mornings when two persons, they got out of their car with garlands. And I thought they must have done some puja or they must be some influential persons. But then few months later, one of my friend introduced us to Gurwani Mataji and Abhay Charan Prabhu. And they invited us to their home for Bhagavad Gita reading. It was Advent of Bhagavad Gita, and they were reciting the whole Bhagavad Gita with translation. Then they gave us copy of Bhagavad Gita as it is and very kindly invited us to ISKCON temple. When we went to the temple, we heard Srila Gurudev, His Grace Shankar Chandas Adhikari and Her Grace Vishnu Priya Mataji's wonderful lectures, ecstatic kirtans and divine prasadam. And that is how we came to know about the unconditional love and oceanic mercy of Srila Prabhupada through his devotees. How systematically and wonderfully he connected everyone to Sri Krishna by giving access to scriptures through his beautiful purports and translations, writing so many books, most importantly by giving his pure devotees. When children are growing, I have experienced that it is so difficult to connect with them and understand things at their level. Many say it's generation gap, but actually I realize that it is absence of pure love. But Srila Prabhupada did that with his genuine compassion for all and unconditional love. He could connect to people from all over the world. He could connect especially to the youth, and they could see Srila Prabhupada's unconditional love as well as how he walked his talk. He lived by his principles. He made place in their hearts, and at the age of 69, he was serving all unconditionally so that they can get connected to Krishna and get free from suffering, which has been built from millions of lifetimes. He took so much pain and opened International Society of Krishna Consciousness so people can know God and learn to love him. From childhood, I have seen people fearing God, but Srila Prabhupada taught us that how God is person and we should learn to love Lord Krishna and connect to him, who is the proprietor of everything. And the fear, we have fear of Maya, which is the cause of our suffering. Though he was a founder Acharya, but he was humble. He always gave credit to his Guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He never took credit for anything. He simply and humbly served everyone. He told us that there is hope for all. We simply have to follow the process and it will relieve us from our suffering. Thus, Srila Prabhupada personally cared for all. He made a home in which the whole world can live. Because of my independent nature and lack of courage, I am still struggling on this path. I sincerely pray to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and his devotees for their mercy. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhu. That was a very wonderful glorification and very heart-touching sharing of realizations. Thank you very much. With that, next we move on to Pushpanjali Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can I share my screen?
Yes, Mataji. Satyasara Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Could you please make Mataji the co-host? Mataji, would you like to get started?
Okay.
Sorry about
that. The screen has all the recordings too. I can just start with the prayers and Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatade Sitarini Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you, devotees, for this opportunity and platform to glorify Srila Prabhupada. I'm just going to make a very small presentation. Still not able to share the screen. Maybe you won't be able to see it, but you'll be able to hear it. So I will go ahead. So first, this presentation has 3 parts.
You can share now, it seems. You are now co-host.
Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So first, I just want to talk about what Krishna says about an Acharya. Since Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what he says is one of the most important things. So let's hear. One should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all demigods. So one time, Srila Prabhupada told his disciples, if any person says that he or she is a god, then that person is a dog. Then a few days later, Prabhupada said that the spiritual master is like God. And then sometime later, Prabhupada got pain in his heart and he had to be taken to the hospital. So the disciples got very confused. They didn't understand. Prabhupada is saying that, if somebody says they are God, then, then they are not God. So Prabhupada explained that the spiritual master is the dearest servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not God, but he is the manifested representative of God. So the respect that you would give to the Supreme Personality of God, that should be given to the bona fide spiritual master who is a pure devotee of the Lord. So now next, let's talk about what do Krishna's great devotees say about preachers. So here we're going to talk about one verse that's sung by the gopis who are the greatest devotees of Lord. And this verse also Bhakti Charu Maharaj always used to glorify Srila Prabhupada. In fact, this verse is the 9th verse, but Bhakti Charu Maharaj would, when singing Gopi Geet, this is the first verse he would sing because this verse could glorify Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. We are not able to hear it, Mataji.
You're not able to hear, Mataji?
Very feeble.
Okay, so I will read the translation. The nectar of your words and the descriptions of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. These narrations, transmitted by learned sages, eradicate one's sinful reactions and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Certainly, those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent. So the gopis they are singing the Gopi Geet in separation from Krishna, and at that time they're taking shelter of Krishna's pastimes. They start remembering his pastimes and they are narrating it, his qualities. And they are saying that people in this world who are suffering, if we take shelter of these pastimes and descriptions, then we can find some solace. And this was done by Srila Prabhupada. Like, who would have thought, an old sannyasi from India coming to the Western world, which is full of all sinful habits, they were steeped in LSD, meat eating, and all the other sinful activities. In such a place, Srila Prabhupada came because he knows that people indulge in these activities to find happiness, but real happiness can be found only in Krishna's name, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's qualities, and his form. So he brought that to the Western civilization. But who would have thought, this was possible? But Srila Prabhupada, with his utter determination and compassion for all of us, he just bared one difficulty after the other to bring this to us. And I also thought that it was very sweet and very sincere devotion of Bhakti Charu Maharaj, because he always sung this verse. So I just wanted to include this here. And then the final point I want to talk about from a person's perspective who's outside of ISKCON. We are all part of ISKCON. We have accepted this as a process of self-realization. Prabhupada is our Lord and Master, but we should also hear what people outside of ISKCON think about Srila Prabhupada. So this one, I'm going to read one pastime. This is from one Ramanandi. Ramanandis are a part of Sri Sampradaya, and they worship Lord Ram, Sita, and Lakshman. and other Vishnu incarnations. So let's hear. This pastime was given by Atmatattva Prabhu. So he is describing one Ekadashi during the Kumbh Mela in Allahabad. Prabhupada was sitting back with his eyes closed, his legs stretched under his desk, talking about Ekadashi. Prabhupada said, "Lotus pods fried in ghee are very good on Ekadashi." Somebody immediately ran to the market to arrange for lotus pods, but just 2 minutes later, a Ramanandi Brahman and his 9-year-old son arrived, both of them wearing Ramanandi tilak. They paid their obeisances, and the father put a cloth bag from his shoulder on Prabhupada's desk. Prabhupada put his hand in it and said, "Just see, it has come." It was lotus pods fried in ghee. He looked at the Ramanandi and said, "How are you?" This man happened to be the priest of a Bengali family in Firozabad, UP, where Prabhupada used to stay. Even though this person was a Ramanandi, he did the Gaur-Nitai deity worship for this family. Prabhupada ate some of the pods, distributed the rest, and said to the Ramanandi, "You haven't taken bath in the confluence, the Sangam?" The Ramanandi said, "Swamiji, I have come to take bath in the Sangam." And he put a plate under Prabhupada's feet. Prabhupada adjusted his feet on the plate, and this man bathed Prabhupada's feet in Sangam water from his pot while he chanted mantras. Prabhupada looked at him, smiling. During that time, December 1976, it was rare to get Prabhupada's Charnamrit, and all of us desired it. This Ramanandi sprinkled that water on his head, drank some, and then sprinkled some on all of us. He said to Prabhupada, "Your feet are the actual Sangam. What will we get in bathing in that Sangam? Your feet will purify the Ganges, and since you're not going to the Ganges, I bought the Ganga here. I will make some of this Janamrit in the Ganga." Prabhupada smiled and said, "Give me your son. I will make him an Acharya." The man said, "He is yours, Swamiji. You can take him anytime." Prabhupada said, No, anytime means no time. You give him to me now. I will make him an Acharya." The Ramanandi said, "Swamiji, now he's learning Sanskrit grammar. To study the bhasyas, the commentaries, he must know some grammar. Once his Vyakaran is over, then I will hand him over to you. He's yours." Prabhupada listened, insisted for the 4th time. No, what grammar? We don't need grammar. Give him to me. I will make him an Acharya." This man said, "Swamiji, I'm not saying no. Everything mine is yours. But he is too small. He will only be trouble for you. In a few years, I will hand him over to you." Prabhupada said, "Okay, theek hai." And he rubbed the boy's head. After that, there were other visitors to see Prabhupada, and this man and his son left. Years passed, and the Ramananda Sampradaya broke into many inimical sects. Then one year, I was taking 10 Gurukul boys to the Allahabad Kumbh Mela, and I was surprised to learn that the Ramanandas had selected one young sannyasi to lead their whole Sampradaya, and they had a huge Ramananda stall at the festival. I told the Gurukul boys, "We will have this leader's darshan. That one sadhu united a whole sampradaya is unheard of. And you boys should meet the person who has this potency. And God knows, tomorrow you may become a guru." So we went to see him. We were given priority because some of the boys were from South America, Australia, and so on. There were about 100 people with this young sannyasi, men 3 times older than him and leaders in their own right. This young sannyasi was sitting on a big seat and people were fanning him with a chamara. We paid obeisances, and a Gurukul boy from South America loudly chanted the Sannyasa Sukta, which is a traditional way to greet a sannyasi. As he started chanting, everyone became silent, and after he had finished, this young Maharaj composed a Sanskrit poem about Prabhupada. He recited, listen carefully. So this young sannyasi who became the leader of the whole Ramananda Sampradaya and who united all of them, he says, "If I say that neither in the past nor in the future will there be an Acharya equal to the Acharya of the Hare Krishna movement, I won't be committing an offense to the founder." So thank you so much, Satyasar Prabhu Jai Subhadra Mataji, for giving this platform. His Swarup Damodar Prabhuji and my sister for giving me the content for this offering. They gave me everything. I'm just their parrot. Veena Mataji and Radha Damodar Prabhuji, thank you for organizing and coordinating. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji, that is very beautiful. You picked so many beautiful verses and shared such a nice, fantastic story. It's really fantastic. Thank you so much, Mataji. With that, Hare Krishna Mataji. With that, next we have Suvarna Manjari Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my most humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to the extraordinary service to Sri Krishna, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we look at old age, our old age is very ordinary. But Srila Prabhupada, your old age was revolutionary. As per your astrologer's prediction at the time of your appearance in this world in 1896, you created a global spiritual revolution at the age of 70 by spreading the glories of Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. You reintroduced us to Krishna culture and Vaishnavism. The glories of Srila Prabhupada are unfathomable to all devotees. All of us who have been rescued by Srila Prabhupada from the ocean of nescience and have been given the opportunity to make our human lives successful by taking the process of Krishna consciousness. It is by his causeless mercy that today numerous devotees are practicing Krishna Bhakti, and we all have been blessed with gurus who are following and preaching the message of Srila Prabhupada. Generations upon generations, we shall be forever indebted to Srila Prabhupada for having bestowed this opportunity for us to go back home, back to Godhead, by reading his transcendental bliss and following his instructions. Samsara dava nalalidha loka Pranaya karunya ghana ghana tvam prapatsa kalanya gunarnavasya vande guru shri charanaravindam. The spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy. Just as a cloud pours water on the forest fire to extinguish it, so the spiritual master delivers the materially afflicted world by extinguishing the blazing fire of material existence. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master, who is an ocean of auspicious qualities. This day is of utmost importance for all devotees in ISKCON throughout the world. And it was on this day that our good fortune arose in the form of the birth of our deliverer, Srila Prabhupada. He not only came to deliver, he could have chosen actually at this age to stay at that age of ripe age of 70, as they say, to stay in India, to stay in Vrindavan. But he followed the directions of his spiritual master to spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. This auspicious day is celebrated all over the world with great enthusiasm. I was just blown away yesterday by seeing the offerings for Vyas Puja in Vrindavan. It was tears and tears of offerings. There were, at least from the pictures we were watching, we could gauge that there were probably over 500 offerings of different kinds to Srila Prabhupada. The reason we worship our Guru, because Guru is a representative of Krishna, completely pure, only has one goal, and that is to deliver us. So how can we forget our Jagat Guru, Srila Prabhupada? The biggest way in my realization of 20 years is that if we have to do anything for our Guru, for Srila Prabhupada, we need to read his books. He always said, distribute books, read books. That is where he has squeezed the essence of Krishna consciousness and the different messages in all the books that he wrote. And he translated so many books in English. He would sleep for 2 hours every night, and still that spiritual energy. And people ask the question, and I also ask the question, how do devotees do so much? It's humanly not possible. And we look at our Guru Maharaj, we look at Srila Prabhupada, we look at the Acharyas. They only do it because they have been blessed with spiritual energy, with divine energy. So it is our duty to continue taking these instructions to the next generations. On this day, the deities in the temple are offered new clothing to celebrate the occasion of the grand Guru Puja, which is held in the courtyard where the devotees sing the Guru Vandana prayers, glorifying the spiritual masters and offering their respects to Srila Prabhupada, for he is the spiritual master of all. Thereafter, all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples describe their innumerable qualities of Prabhupada. For Raj Bhog, Srila Prabhupada is offered various preparations, and I think the pictures that I saw was for Raj Bhog. And the devotees, with great love and devotion, prepare all the delicious savories, sweets, kachoris, gulab jamuns for Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, all the devotees offer Pushpanjali to Srila Prabhupada, followed by singing Guru Vashtapam. On this day, the devotees also beautifully decorate Srila Prabhupada's house with many gorgeous and colorful flowers and bhoga offering, which is made to Srila Prabhupada there as well. After serving and glorifying Srila Prabhupada in this way and maintaining fast until noon for his pleasure, the devotees proceed to the Prasadam hall to honor a big feast for devotees. The festivities don't, however, end with Prasadam. In the evening, again the devotees glorify Srila Prabhupada and his mercy upon us and call on a cultural program to celebrate his appearance once again for his pleasure, in which the devotees are singing and dancing and offering their presentations at his lotus feet. In this way, the divine transcendental appearance day of Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada is celebrated with great fervor and zeal by the devotees of ISKCON Vrindavan. The reason I read this is to paint a picture of how celebrations happen in ISKCON Vrindavan, so we can get that storyline and picture in front of our eyes. And even though we are not present in physically, of course, today we have the luxury of being present online, but even by reading this, we can get a clear picture of how important this day is for us in our ISKCON society. On this day, Srila Prabhupada, we pray that please grant us service to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Krishna, so that by serving them, we make progress in our endeavors in spiritual life. The devotees of the Lord are very dear to Srila Prabhupada. And who are the devotees of the Lord? Those who spread the names, fame, qualities, pastimes throughout the world. So that is why reading Srila Prabhupada's books is very important, because without reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we will not be able to serve Srila Prabhupada by being those messengers and spreading the name and qualities of the Lord. The only thing I would say is, with folded hands, I desire the lust of your holy feet in every birth I take. When I was a child, I would always envy those who were born in countries, in the Western countries, and had been gifted with luxuries right from a very young age. Today, over and over again, I keep reminding myself that this life that I've got is the best life. It is the only life probably where I have come in contact with such wonderful devotees, with Srila Prabhupada's mission, and I can progress on the spiritual journey. Today, when I think of myself as a young child envying to be born with white color and blonde hair and blue eyes, I take back my words because Srila Prabhupada has opened the eyes in my heart. Srila Prabhupada has gifted me my Guru Maharaj, who continuously shares teachings of Srila Prabhupada. We are all so blessed that what more can we ask? Yesterday was our 25th wedding anniversary, and somebody asked me, what gift did you get? And I said, the biggest gift of life that I've got is coming in contact with Srila Prabhupada's mission. I have to thank not only my Guru Maharaj, I have to thank my father also so much for it, because from a very young age, I remember him playing on a mini tape recorder, Srila Prabhupada's Hare Krishna Mahamantra, his japa. He would play it every morning. It was not something that was music to my ears then. It used to annoy me at that time. And I was so fallen that the melodious kirtan that Srila Prabhupada used to annoy me. And I was so fallen. I always asked for forgiveness for saying those things. Because today I understand the value of that melodious voice and the magic, the power of that melodious voice that has transformed my, in Hindi, there's a word mela, which is my unclean soul. It has transformed my unclean soul to the extent that now I can understand the value of Srila Prabhupada's books, of Srila Prabhupada's teachings, of this entire generation that he has created of gurus for us, and the next generation, and so many temples throughout the world. So much so that when we moved to Austin, we had a choice. Where do we live? And throughout our life, we have tried to live close to the office, throughout our lives. This was the first time that we said, no. We know we will drag ourselves to the office every morning. We know we don't give ourselves a choice. But we are so fickle-minded that we always give ourselves a choice when it comes to going to the temple. So no, this time, our endeavor was, when we moved 2 years ago, we have to live close to the temple because that is where we cannot give ourselves the option. Without the 20 years of cleansing that Srila Prabhupada and we received from Guru Maharaj, from the LA temple, from all the congregation of ISKCON devotees, from my parents, from everybody around us, without that, I would not have had this opportunity. So I beg of everybody, pick up the Krishna book. Krishna book is what transformed my entire thing. Read all 90 chapters of the Krishna book. After that, you will want to read as much as possible of Srila Prabhupada's book. Read one verse a day. I'm not saying I read for hours a day, but I have made an endeavor to read at least 1 to 2 verses a day, whether it is from Bhagavatam or whether it is from Bhagavad Gita. It is amazing. Even when we do a small effort based on the instructions of our gurus, Krishna gives us so much enlightenment and really takes 10 steps towards us. So thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for everything you've done for generations to come. We just cannot do it without you. And we accept this oath. When I took my initiation, we accept this oath that we will follow the instructions of our Guru and we will continue to spread Krishna consciousness in our capacity throughout the world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. That was a very inspiring and a very beautiful glorification. I'm so inspired. I think we all should pick up the Krishna book and read and make it a point that we read at least one verse a day. Thank you, Mataji. That was very beautiful. Hare Krishna. So next we have Radha Damodar Prabhu and Atma Maya Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhu and Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can you hear us?
Yes, Prabhu, we can.
Okay, wonderful. Hare Krishna. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Budale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prajarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadarine. Jai Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. It's all because of you we have come to this juncture. So we are very thankful and very happy to have your association. Through your books and through your disciples, we have become their disciples. And we are very fortunate that you have come in this Kali Yuga at this time of the year when we were able to take your shelter. Glorification of you is unlimited. The best way I thought we can glorify you is by reading one of your own purports. So what I choose is to read a purport, a small portion of a purport from Srila Prabhupada's commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 8th chapter. This is from Dhruva Maharaj story. So we can see how great Srila Prabhupada's purport is, what kind of message it gives to us. So the translation for this verse is, every man should act like this. When he meets a person more qualified than him, he should be very pleased. When he meets someone less qualified than him, he should be compassionate towards him. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. In this way, one is never affected by the three modes of miseries of this material world. That's the translation. And the purport is so beautiful. That shows Srila Prabhupada's, the teachings right here. So the purport is, generally, when we find someone more qualified than ourselves, we become envious of him. When we find someone is less qualified than him, then we find someone equal, we become proud of him, his activities. These are the causes of all material tribulation. The great Narada therefore advised that a devotee should act perfectly. Instead of being envious of more qualified man, one should be jolly to him, jollily able to serve him. Instead of being oppressive to the less qualified man, one should be compassionate towards him, just to rise him to the proper standard. When one meets an equal, instead of being proud of his own achievements before him, one should treat him as a friend. One should also be compassion, show passion for the people in general who are suffering due to the forth of Krishna. These important functions will make one happy in the material world. This is a simple, straightforward instructions you are teaching all of us. Prabhupada, we would like to try to do this verse, this instruction as much as possible. Please bless me and my family and all the devotees to do the right things. Hare Krishna. Atma.
Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Dinamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarini. On this day, first of all, I would like to thank Srila Prabhupada for showing me the path of self-realization. As growing up, my goal was to get a job, settled in life, take care of my parents, my siblings, be there for them, do some charity work and some social work. But that was the only aim of me. But after coming to Krishna consciousness, I only realized that the purpose of life is beyond these material designations and attachments, and have a supreme goal, that is to serve Krishna. And it can be done only through the representative of Krishna, that is a spiritual master. So to you, I understood the value of the spiritual master, how a spiritual master should be. Then I knew the importance of reading our scriptures, the importance of chanting, and what is the importance of spiritual life. Even though I have a fallen soul, have done so many mistakes in my life, in this life, and so many my past life, still you have given me a hope that still I can be saved, and also my ancestors and my future generations can be saved too, just like Prahlad Maharaj. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for guiding me in this path and giving me opportunity to use my talents in the service of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji and Prabhu. That was really very nice and very heart-touching realization and glorification. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji.
And thank you for all the services you're doing. Thank you, Prabhu and Mataji. Next, we have Satyarupa Gauranga Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu, and along with Prabhu is Rasmai Mataji and Samanvita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Satyasara Prabhu, and Hare Krishna Jai Shubhadra Mataji for giving us this opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada on his 125th anniversary. So first of all, like I'll pray to Prabhupada so that I can get talk a few points about himself. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pachatya Desatarine. So many like devotees already covered many points about Prabhupada, and we have unlimited points to glorify Prabhupada, but I'll take opportunity and present a few points about Prabhupada. So Prabhupada shown as an example how we should take our Guru's instruction, spiritual master's instruction, even though that looks like formidable instruction for Prabhupada, going west and preach. That time, like before that, sannyasi never crossed ocean, but he took his spiritual master's instruction, and he is very comfortable also. That time his services, translation, being in Vrindavan, being stayed in Vrindavan, but he have taken spiritual master's instruction seriously, and he put a faith on his Guru, and we have seen what happened next. So he could spread his message, Krishna's message, throughout the world, and he made true that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction, like where Krishna's name and glory chanted every nook and corner of the world. We could see now Serbia, Russia, some of the places where governments are not so encouraged, but still there also like coming thousands of devotees and street Nam Sankirtan. It is made possible only by Prabhupada, and he's shown as the character of determination to serve his spiritual master. Despite his old age and sickness, he continued his preaching and translation activities, which gives us the motive to proceed in our spiritual progress. And Prabhupada, see, when the world is slept, Prabhupada woke up and dictated Bhaktivedanta purports, which continue to illuminate and show the path for the thousands of humanity to become a devotees and to fulfill the life aim, to become devotees of Krishna and come out of the birth, death, life, old age cycle. And Prabhupada's determination to preach could compare to the grandfather Bhishma, even though like Bhishma's body is pierced with many arrows, but he given instructions to King Yudhishthira for many days. And Prabhupada, with his instructions, he could make pure devotees such as of many of our ISKCON gurus who could complete 50 years of sannyas ashram. And it is not so easy to make that kind of pure devotees. Prabhupada only could make that. And despite of so much success and thousands of followers and so many donations, and Prabhupada remained as a humble servant of Lord Krishna. So this will give such an inspiration how to be remain servant of Lord Krishna. And Prabhupada taught us how to celebrate the festivals and how to keep our right mood while celebrating the festival. During this occasion, I beg to Prabhupada lotus feet to progress my spiritually. I should progress without any difficulties. I pray. I also pray all of you devotees, please bless me and bless my family to progress in the spiritual path. Hare Krishna.
Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desadani. Thank you very much, Satsara Prabhu, Jai Subhadra Mataji and Veena Mataji, for giving me this opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada teached us the essence of purifying our senses. He always stresses in the purports that we cannot see Krishna or understand Krishna with our impure senses. So he gave an emphasis on purifying the senses. Also, he gave the association of the devotees. Now, wherever we go, we have temples, we have families. It is like a big family for us. So being in West, we never miss the family or in the life in India. So he had established 108 festivals. Now it's around 850 temples all over the world. So in about the importance of the association of devotees of Krishna, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a verse, Durlabho Manusho Deho, Dehinam Kshana Banugraha, Tatrapi Durlabham Manye, Vaikunta Priyate Darshanam. For the conditioned souls, the human body is most difficult to achieve and it can be lost at any moment. But I think that even those who have achieved human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord of Vaikunta. So this association of devotees is very, very important, and which Prabhupada had made very easily available to all of us. So, most importantly, he's introduced the Radha Yatra festivals. So never in my life I had seen a Radha Yatra festival until I visited ISKCON. It is not only in India that Radha Yatra is celebrated whole wide world. And also the purification of senses. And one of the devotees asked Prabhupada that he has a question. Then Prabhupada replied saying that everything is given in his words, in his books, like how Krishna has given the right knowledge to Arjuna, and also told Arjuna that I have given everything which is required to you, and which is covered everything. So when we read Prabhupada books, every knowledge we can get. So there we can get the clarifications, everything. So Prabhupada is living in his books. So we need to read Prabhupada books every day. And also he has given us the importance of the deity worship. He has emphasized us to eat only the prasadam offered, which is offered to Krishna. This will give a steady progress in our devotional life. So on this auspicious day, I beg Srila Prabhupada to give his mercy to continue reading his books and progress in the spiritual path. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Samantha.
Hare Krishna. Prabhupada gave us books in such a way that anyone can understand. I love the way he writes his books, like a story. You do not feel like something you have to do. It's like something you want to do. Even the hardest philosophy is in small terms. It's very simple to understand. I enjoy reading the Krishna book. The purports in Bhagavad Gita are so simple to read and understand. However hard the verse is, Prabhupada can make the verse so easy to appreciate and realize. Long ago, it was very hard to reach the holy name, but Prabhupada propagated the holy name in the West. So even in America, we can chant. Also, by his mercy, we can get Krishna Prasadam every day and every week. So I pray to his lotus feet and beg his mercy so I can progress in my spiritual life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Samandita. That was a very beautiful glorification and sharing of your realizations. It's always, the purports are really so beautiful. And as Samandita said, it's so easy to understand. We are able to read such difficult Vedic scriptures because of Prabhupada has made it so easy and so accessible to all of us. So before we move to the next person, our next devotee, we would like to, on this auspicious occasion, we beg to report the preaching efforts for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. We began this journey of Krishna consciousness in Austin in 2012. And by Lord Krishna and Srila Prabhupada's causeless mercy, we are blessed with a growing devotee congregation, a divine temple for our beloved Gaur-Nitai deities, and an opportunity to spread Krishna consciousness. We're conducting so many Vaishnava festivals. Each holy day is a cause for celebration and remembrance of Lord Krishna, his pastimes, and his devotees. We have been celebrating all the Vaishnava festivals as directed by Srila Prabhupada, with beautiful decoration of our deities, heart-melting kirtan, Krishna Katha, various cultural programs glorifying the Supreme Lord, and ends with an opulent and sumptuous prasadam. We just completed the Krishna Janmashtami program a few days ago, and it was a grand success. We had both online and in-person celebration, and over 400 people visited the temple and got the blessings of the most merciful deities. We had created a mini Vrindavan in temple, and we had cows as well. It was very much appreciated by all the people who came to the temple, and truly it was a blissful day. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for giving us this opportunity to serve you. With that, next we have Sri Chaitanya Prabhu and Lalita Kund Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhu and Mataji.
Hare Krishna devotees. This is a Vyas Puja offering from our side. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine. So I am very indebted to Srila Prabhupada, and he's called the Jagat Guru. But who is a Jagat Guru and what does it mean, right? The literal definition of the Jagat means world and Guru means teacher. So how do we understand that? So according to Advai Taraka Upanishad, verse 16, Gu Shabdasva Andakara Syat, Ru Shabdasva Anirodhaka, Andakarin Nirodhvat, Guru Ritya Vidiyate. So the syllable Gu means darkness. Gu Shabdasva Andakara. Ru means person who dispels it. Ru Shabdasya Nirodhakaha. So because of the power to dispel the darkness, the Guru is thus named. In fact, the Sanskrit Guru is cognate with a lot of Latin words like gravis, heavy, grave, weighty, serious, and the Greek baris, which also means heavy. So Guru is a person whose influence on the world has the power to transform it. And Srila Prabhupada is such a person. In fact, he said in one of the lectures that not only do we, that is the conditional souls, not know the right answers, we don't even know the right questions. So in answer to my searching, Srila Prabhupada has given me the goal of Krishna, along with the ways and means to reach him, which is pure devotional service. So I am fully indebted to Srila Gurudev because he has given me so many things. The highest conception of the holy name of Krishna, the highest form of sound, which contains the highest form of thought and inspiration, ideal, everything. It is only through Srila Prabhupada movement that I am able to define the goal in my life. And he has given me the means and the path to pursue it. Before I came in touch with the movement, I had a very deep yearning to learn about our Shastras, and there was a vague concept of dharma and knowledge of the Supreme. But through Srila Prabhupada's books, I am learning about who I am, who is the Supreme, and what is my relationship. I feel so fortunate that Srila Prabhupada came to this Western world to preach the holy names of the Lord. He has provided a path for countless conditioned souls like me to learn about Krishna consciousness. And he has also fulfilled the prophecy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is Prithiviyate Ache Yata Nagaradi Grama Sarvayatra Prachara Highway Moranama. In every town and village, the chanting of my name will be heard. I am thankful to Srila Prabhupada that through this movement, because he's helping us to come from darkness towards light. In fact, in the early years, Srila Prabhupada was often, especially in the Western world, he was accused of brainwashing the people and making them devotees. So this is, I'm reading out from a conversation on a train to Allahabad on 11th January 1977. You said, yes, we are brainwashing from bad to good. That is our business. We are washing the brain from all rascaldom. That is our business. Your brain is filled up with all rubbish things, meat eating, illicit sex, gambling. So we are washing them. Cheto darpan marjanam, cheveta swakatha Krishna pureya charvata kirtanau hadiyantastito hi abhadrai. What does abhadrai means? Washing. Abhadrai means bad things. The bad things should be washed off. Don't you cleanse your home? Don't you cleanse your room? Is that brainwashing? So if you wish your room very clean, who blames you? But you said that. So rascal, that why are you washing his garbage? You are protesting. So this is from Srila Prabhupada's conversation. He also said that if you have got a brain, you're trying to brainwash. Actually, you have no brain. See how important it is, this movement. You are trying to brainwash, but we are not brainwashing. We are giving you a good brain. That is our mission. That you are so dull-headed, we have come to give you this good brain. Sumedasau yajrau sankirtana prayer yajanti sumedasaha. We have come to make you intelligent. Receive us well for your benefit. Tell them like that. So this is what Srila Prabhupada says. This is how we need to talk to people. But actually, I really believe this is what he came here to do. He came to wash my brain out. In fact, to give me a brain. So it is by his causeless mercy that today many devotees like me are able to practice Krishna consciousness all over the world. And he has opened so many temples for that purpose. I have personally felt the loving guiding hand of Srila Prabhupada's disciples in my life. And in helping me expertly forging the right path for me to follow. In many ways, your example and instructions were revolutionary, Srila Prabhupada, and therefore your movement has had such an effect on this world. I am a woman and I am able to do deity worship in the temple. That is so blissful for me. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for that. Indeed, generations upon generation will remain indebted to you for giving us this possibility of going back home, back to Godhead, by reading your wonderful books and following your instructions. Please bless me and empower me so that I can carry on things in a way that both you and my Guru Maharaj will be pleased.
Hare Krishna. On this occasion of Vyasa Puja, I remember one of the earliest instructions from my Siksha Guru, and he had asked us a very simple question to find a goal in your life. And it took a lot of contemplation, and I could not find a goal of my life for a long time until I started reading Prabhupada's books. And in his purports are so beautiful in Bhagavad Gita that it just made sense when he said anybody's goal of life has to be to go back to Krishna. And so just as like searching for such a long time, finding that answer written 30-40 years ago has brought us a realization that he's so empowered and give us direction in a way that we are able to follow and reach back to our original goal of life is very important. Furthermore, Prabhupada is a great inspiration to us as we further his knowledge to younger minds. And throughout COVID, that was one of the biggest challenges that we faced on how do we reach to all these young kids. And again, Prabhupada inspired us in showing the way when he came to the US without any knowledge of how he can move this the entire population towards Krishna and make them more spiritual. He was able to do it, and that inspired us to continue our focus with a single focus that Krishna is going to show us the path, and Prabhupada is going to show us the path through our devotion. So for that, we are always thankful for his books and his life inspiration for us.
Gopal, you want to say something?
So my two reasons for Prabhupada are, he was the first one to introduce Bhagavad Gita to everyone
in the Western
world. If without him, we wouldn't even be doing Vyasa Puja right now. Mm-hmm. Without him, we wouldn't be believing Krishna. Without him, we would have been drinking, meat eating, and all the other sins. And without him, we would go to Patal Lok.
Okay, that's it. Thank you,
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Mataji and Gopal. That was really very nice Vyasa Puja offering and very nice realizations. And I think Gopal summed it up very well. Without Prabhupada, we all would not have been here and would have been living a sinful life. Thank you so much, Prabhu Mataji. It was very nice. With that, next we will go to Ram Prabhu, Rekha Mataji, Jishnu and Kriti. Hare Krishna, Prabhu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to do a Vyasa Puja this day to Prabhupada. Though I'm not really even qualified to speak, but for my benefit of what Prabhupada did in my life. he taught me very beginning with his books and his preachings of who am I and what is the purpose in the material world other than all the rat race that I've been doing it with in this material life, thinking that going through all the cycle of the life, the new stuff, understanding what is the purpose. And he also taught me about the pure bhakti. He clearly mentioned that it is not easy. Pure bhakti is not easy, and then if you are going to any guru that doing tricks, means you are not compromising, and you are not going to the pure devotion. So he really taught me what is the pure bhakti is with his teachings, and also his humbleness. And then when his guru instructed him to come to the US to teach the Western world, he's writing heroes. He doesn't know what to do. He's a puppet in the Krishna's hand. So and he'll do make me a dance. That kind of humbleness he has, though he has so much knowledge, about the scriptures, anything, but still he believes it as that he doesn't know much, and then he can he's just in the puppet in the Krishna's hand. And he has that he taught me as how compassionate, even when he looked at within next 5-6 miles, no one should go hungry. So he he is very compassionate to everyone, and then that really inspired me myself. And also when he came to the Western world, he did not force, though he was with all those people meditating, drinking, but he never forced them. But with his teachings and with his kirtans and with his words, he melted their hearts. He made them to give away, and then he made them to follow the pure bhakti. And then he had an unflinching faith. At the age of 68, he took the Jaladuta. He came here. He did not give up. And then, by single hand, he came and then established this. I was serving the Janmashtami day for prasadam in a few hours. I felt so tired, and then I was like, it reminded me, how Prabhupada, this well established, and just everybody, all the matas is cooked, and then just serving the prasadam, and I was really tired in a few hours. And then imagine at the age of 68, he's cooking and then serving to the hundreds. How is he able to do it? And then me just here, can't even stand and serve the prasadam. So every moment that the Prabhupada actions reminds me that what I really, he has established platform to me, well established centers, well established all the gurus, and then the association. But still me really struggling. But he has single-handed, came and then established everything. And in his vision, he had a complete vision of, how all the ISKCON, even the gurus, all these devotees. And then when I went Gita Nagari, I heard that, in his diary way back in like 20-30 years back, he has vision to name a form with the Gita Nagari. He has that much vision and about his plans. So, we really think that, okay, we are so material, but he is in the devotion, but, he foresee it, he plan it, execution of constructing the temples, books, writing the books and publishing it. He has completion in his life, what to do, how to, propagate this Krishna mission. That really inspired me, how well, he has planned it. He's not like people think, going into IIM, master schools, and then do it. But he has just, in India and then finished this, but he had a vision to run this, a bigger than world's biggest company. And then he has also established this all these temples in every city, and it's become as a Vasudhaiva Kutumbam. Like wherever we go, we have a temple, and then we can be part of the association of the groups. And then also he simply followed the Guru's instruction to print the books. Today, he is not there, but he is within his books, word by word, meaning of, the script, the Sanskrit words. I don't think any other book that we can find is so detailed with each word by word meaning it. And at the same time, though he has single-handed, he is coming on his own, but he never compromised with the standards. He has kept the same quality. And then he followed and executed it. That really inspired me. Whenever I feel like I want to do a shortcut and cutting anything, it inspires me, Prabhupada, how well he executed. Even in the time of any struggle or anything, but he did not let the standards go down. So thank you very much, Prabhupada, for giving us this wonderful platform that I get opportunity to be part of this association, and you have made all of hard work, and then gave me a very good platform. And then thank you very much.
Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Name Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravane Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desata. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Respected Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada, you are very merciful and compassionate on all of us. It is because of you we got a chance to serve the Lord Sri Krishna. It is because of you we got the transcendental knowledge through your translations, a book from Sanskrit language to English language, by spending hours and hours in the old age also. It is also you and your systems modified according to the present situation. We are all able to chant and hearing the holy names of Lord Sri Krishna. It is because of we are introduced Sri Guru Parampara and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission and goal purpose of life of each individuals. Before Krishna consciousness, I was loving Jesus' concepts, principles of love and prayers from my childhood. But since I born in a hardcore Hindu family, but confused by many gods, having a little knowledge and here and there, but not having a proper understanding who is the root origin, looking for this question all my life in a deeper way in my heart. Since childhood, I keep on depending on a Guru Sri Sai Baba and his instructions, but many disturbances in my heart. I wanted to talk in person Guru to clarify what is happening in my heart. Lord Sri Krishna's mercy and arrangement, one of Srila Prabhupada devotee introduced Sri Guru Parampara disciples of Lord Sri Krishna. And my journey started and able to serve in my capacity, who is the origin of whole creation. Though I was trained process how to offer and in a Vedic way from my childhood, but for demigods and elders only. God chanced to serve the same Vedic way, the original and origin of this whole creation and all souls, Lord Sri Krishna's lotus feet. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, showed mercy through your pure devotees' teachings and instructions personally. And I am here today and become a part of serving you and your mission goals. Srila Prabhupada, I beg you to remind first duty of mine is to chant Supreme Personality of Godhead all the time in all situations. My mind wanders here and there. I beg you on this special occasion, give me strength, determination, intelligence, inspiration to please Lord Sri Krishna and give strength to reject and not pleasing Lord Sri Krishna's, which is not Lord Sri Krishna, which is very difficult. Show mercy on me to show gratitude, which you have given to me and give back to you by serving your regulative principles and being a part of serving your mission goal with my abilities. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Very minute soul welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees. Although we often refer to Prabhupada's origins in America as independent, adventurous, a successful attempt to spread positive, unbiased, authentic, bona fide philosophy in a negative, illusioned land, we must also understand that Prabhupada's mission in spreading bhakti to America superseded his opinions on America and Americans. Although he condemned the hippie culture and racism in America, he focused not on Americans' negatives, but its potential for bhakti and its future of ISKCON. He understood the struggle for happiness that many of his early students were facing, and he addressed it. When we preach, similarly, we should also look at who we are preaching to in the same way. We shouldn't observe them and characterize them as a lower status human being. Look at them as a potential servant of Krishna that is confused and on the wrong path. It allows us to disapprove of their potentially sinful practices while also looking and thinking of them as future devotees. Secondly, I would like to mention how Prabhupada's journey to America was, although physically independent, his values and ideals connected to Krishna's and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings and practices. This led him to being spiritually associated with Krishna, an association that supersedes any other material relationship. This connection was vital to his success in founding ISKCON and his beautiful translation of 60 plus Hindu scriptures, books, and volumes within his last 12 years. There is not a single organization in this world that can make teenagers as interested in religious and philosophical studies as much as ISKCON, especially in today's day and age. This proves that Prabhupada's message is something which all of us desire, something that all of us want to hear and appreciate, despite some of us not knowing that we do, regardless of class, race, creed, age, or gender. Lastly, despite Prabhupada's success in founding an international Hindu organization that changed the lives of millions, he maintained a humble servant mindset, unlike many leaders in this world. For this, I am ever grateful, and I'm not sure how I can pay this back. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, devotees.
Hare Krishna devotees. So today is Prabhupada's appearance day. So I'd first off like to pay obeisances to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada for the change he has done to me and to everyone here. Without his arrival in America in 1965, I don't think I would be here. His teachings and understanding make me want to learn more about the Bhagavad Gita. The purports in the Bhagavad Gita to the Bhagavatam he wrote. At the age of 69, he arrived in the Western world without not knowing anyone or anything. Soon after he arrived, people wanted to learn more about him, like a magnet attracted to another magnet, to what he brought there, not only them, but also the most popular band, the Beatles. I would also like to think what he has translated to us of what Krishna asked us to do, or else we would have not gotten this knowledge of absolute truth. He sat around the hippies and meat eaters in the beginning, but began to change them from wasting time with drinking and playing golf to sitting and listening to lectures given by him and chanting. One of the most important things that I want to take away from him is that one can never survive without knowing Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Ram Prabhu, Rekha Mataji, Jishnu and Triti. That was a really very nice glorification of Prabhupada. And yes, Prabhupada has done so much for us, and we can only repay by following his instructions and chanting. Thank you very much. That was very beautiful. Next, we have Kannan Prabhu and Sri Devi Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhu and Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, we can.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you, Satyasara Prabhu, Jai Subhadra Mataji and Veena Mataji for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my thoughts about Prabhupada. So I'm really not qualified to glorify Srila Prabhupada. So please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara.
So Srila Prabhupada was an amazing spiritual master who transformed the lives of so many people and also still changing lives of so many through his disciples. So Srila Prabhupada was the only person who truly cared for each and everyone. Prabhupada sees everyone as spirit soul and a servant of God without discriminating anyone by religion, caste, or color. So Prabhupada says he is a servant of the servant of the servant. So that shows how humble he is. So because of Srila Prabhupada, I consider myself very fortunate to have this opportunity to come in contact with this movement, Krishna consciousness. And before getting into this Krishna consciousness, our life was totally different. So because of Prabhupada mercy, we started to follow 4 regulative principles and chanting 20 rounds every day. And only because of Srila Prabhupada, I realized the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sri Krishna. So Prabhupada did selfless service without expecting anything in return. So to please Prabhupada, I should chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day and spread the Krishna consciousness to others as well. So everyone will get benefited out of that. So Prabhupada set an example to all of us how a devotee should always remember and serve for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. So I am grateful to Prabhupada for dedicating his life to deliver all of us like fallen soul back to Godhead. So I pray to Srila Prabhupada to shower his causeless mercy upon us. So I conclude here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you.
So, Hare Krishna devotees, Hare Krishna everyone. I'm really not qualified to talk about devotees of Prabhupada. But the one thing, I recently prepared some, postings for my chanting booth for this Janmashtami, and I came to know about this particular quote, which Srila Prabhupada written. Drink more and you become a drunkard. Similarly, chant more and you become a perfect chanter. I can totally understand this, but only Srila Prabhupada can convert drunkard people to become a perfect chanter. No other can. So, and also before coming to this Krishna consciousness movement, my basic understanding was God is, whenever I am distressed, I should approach God, then God should give me something for me to relieve my distress. That's a basic understanding I had before come and contact this Krishna conscious movement. But only because of Srila Prabhupada, his books and preachings and everything, I came to know that, worshipping is nothing but we should serve God. Instead of what I want from God, I should always do what God wants. That's a basic, very basic thing I understand from Srila Prabhupada teachings and purport and everything. So if I really truly want to glorify Srila Prabhupada, what I should do, like, people say that, if, they are author of some books and they comment about that, they live even after they die through their books. Srila Prabhupada is, really, really great example for that. Because of Srila Prabhupada, we are all, our souls are getting purified now. But what I can do is, I should preach this, whatever the Srila Prabhupada knowledge, whatever the Srila Prabhupada moment, I should preach this to others and distribute the books to others. Then only, Prabhupada live through the books. Otherwise, if we have the books in at the puja room or library or anything, and no one is referencing the book, or no one is, preaching the knowledge of those books, then I don't really believe that, they live through the books. So living through the books means we need to distribute their knowledge. We need to distribute their books as much as possible. So if I bring, that means, if I bring at least one family to this Krishna consciousness movement. And I am truly, serving Srila Prabhupada as well as, serving Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu and Mataji. That was really very nice glorification. And you're right, Prabhu. Only Srila Prabhupada can make even drunkards as chanters. And the only way for us to repay is by reading Prabhupada's book and spreading the Krishna conscious movement. Thank you, Prabhu and Mataji. Before we continue, we would like to report the preaching efforts for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. With respect to devotee nurturing, we have over 135 families each week who are engaged in the process of Shravanam and Kirtanam. Our devotional activities include daily morning Japa conference. So every day morning we have Japa during the Brahma Muhurta to kickstart our congregation to live Srila Prabhupada's motto of chant and be happy. Radha Damodar Prabhu is leading the daily morning Japa conference at 5:30 a.m. and many of the congregation members are joining the Japa conference to chant together and create the auspiciousness. And with respect to temple services, our congregation members are doing many temple services, engaging our kids, teens, and adults in various devotional services, right from cleaning, maintenance, temple management, altar and deity services, fundraising, event organization, book distribution, prasadam cooking and distribution, kirtan programs, and cultivating our beautiful Krishna garden. All these services are performed for the pleasure of our beloved deities, their lordships Sri Sri Nitai Gaur and Nataraj. More than 50 dedicated devotee volunteers engage in these services each week. With that, devotees, we next continue with Umesh Prabhu, Neha Mataji, and Meera. Hare Krishna Prabhu and Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
First of all, I would like to say thank you to Satyasara Prabhuji, Jayasubhadra Mataji and Veena Mataji for giving us opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada on the occasion of his 125th appearance day. What good a day to talk about your Acharya and Guru than the Teacher's Day or the Guru's Days. Mukham karoti vachalam pangam lam gayate giri yat kripatam ham vamde parmanamdam madhvam. With Guru's Kripa and Krishna's mercy, everything is possible for a devotee and no one can touch you. Prabhupada Ji and ISKCON inspires so many people in so many different ways. Prabhupada Ji is an inspiration for all of us to understand how to become Krishna's pure devotee. His enthusiasm at the age of 70 to spread Krishna consciousness is a thing to learn. His confidence in Krishna that no matter what, whether I know anyone in US or not, Krishna is always there to protect me. His patience that no matter how many hurdles will come in my path, Krishna is there to protect me. And his acting according to regulative principles, hearing, chanting and remembering Krishna reminds us and teaches us that we have to keep always Krishna in the center. His teaching of always being in association of devotees teaches us that we always have to keep on learning through the association of devotees, and we have to follow footsteps of acharyas. Prabhupada Ji and ISKCON inspire so many people in so many different ways. Some connect through his books, some through his Sankirtan, some loves feast, and some through services. But for us, all this inspired us. But what truly touched our heart is his hidden hand of miracle every time we face any situation in life. That's why it is said that Prabhupada Ji is Krishna Duta, who came in Jal Duta to protect his devotees from the darkness of the Western world. When he came, it was the time there was widespread dissent in the American society, especially amongst the youth, as they were looking for alternative way of living. In our opinion, these are Krishna conscious souls who have lost their way of life in Western world. And that's why Krishna sent Prabhupada Ji to revive Krishna consciousness in them and protect them. Only when you look back at life and connect the dots, you sometimes see a beautiful pattern and a story.
In our US life, we have experienced a beautiful story of how Prabhupadaji's hidden and miraculous presence saved us from many situations and finally got us strongly connected to ISKCON Austin congregation.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So we want to share these miracles that happened to us. I mean, there are different ways, we can glorify Srila Prabhupada and your Guru Maharaj. I think for us, these are personal stories, but we choose to share with you because we believe that it has protected us and it can inspire you why connecting to ISKCON and Prabhupada ji is important in life, and why preaching to others is also important and must be your life goal. So please, these are personal stories. Don't take it as a an expression of our personal stories, but an expression of gratitude towards ISKCON and Prabhupadaji's mission. So any student who comes to US, right, know the struggles of a student days, right? In my case, I was 32-year-old married student, and it was extremely important for me to get a job and get sponsored here in the US. Every student has to go through hundreds of job applications and tens and hundreds of interviews to get selected in a job. That is a pattern I saw when I was getting my first job in India as well. But here I was sitting in a class at my MBA college in San Francisco, and an LM comes to lecture us, and he happened to be from Amazon. Somehow I got the inspiration. I'm a very shy person to ask for things for me. I'm extrovert, but when asking for me, I'm very shy. But I think Krishna and Prabhupada gave me inspiration, that, oh, go talk to this person and get connected to him on LinkedIn. I stood up. I don't know what energy asked me to stood up. I told, hey, I want nothing. I just want to get connected on LinkedIn with you. And within 15 days, I had a recruiter contact me. And then only when I look at how the dots connected and how Prabhupada ji and ISKCON and Krishna's mercy was protecting me, all the interviews happened in a day. They flew me to Seattle. Finally, I get an offer. And there you see the miraculous hand of Prabhupada ji and Krishna's mercy. I didn't have to go through the struggles that I planned to go through to get a job in the US and get sponsored. For us, this was a hidden miracle of Prabhupada ji and Krishna happening. Skills alone aren't enough to achieve such a feat. You need faith and you need spiritual master's protection. I happened to be the first in my college's history to be offered a job and a H-1B sponsorship within 5 months of joining the college. And this was a miracle. I didn't plan for it. I was prepared for the tough days to face hundreds of companies, give lots of interviews. But then I think Prabhupada ji and Krishna had a different plan for me. And when you hear more story, you know why we are saying it was Prabhupada ji's hidden hand of mercy and Krishna's mercy. Then we were faced with another situation in San Francisco. We were living with a family. I planned to live with the family, not to reduce my expenses. And then here you go, we need to get out of that family for various reasons and go to Boston. Now my college decided to, send me to 6 different places around the world, but I chose Boston. At that point of time, I had no idea that Boston was where the Prabhupada ji landed first. So we went to Boston, a whole night on a flight, whole day hungry, with $200 at hand, and nowhere to go. The first thing Neha said, after we settled down in our Airbnb, let's go to ISKCON. So we took a 2-hour bus ride, walked, took a bus ride, and went to ISKCON, Boston. We took darshan of Krishna, enjoyed the feast, and said nothing. We just sat there and asked for protection. The next day, Prabhupada ji and Krishna's mercy, we got the realization that why go anywhere else? Let's go to the college and ask for help. We went to the college, and there you go, a Westerner, a Colombian girl says, I have a room for you, and I can accommodate it is an all girls house. Never a guy lived in their house, but here is a, Krishna sent protection, thanks to Prabhupada ji as well, that he's protecting us all the way. And this Colombian girl comes and says, You can stay in my house as a couple. I have no problem. Um, there's another indication for us that how the connection with ISKCON is protecting us in a foreign land. We have well-to-do families in India, but both of us decided to live a very austere life, student life, because that is the process I wanted to go through. It's easy said to live, being able to live an austere life, right? Having fat salaries in India, but it was tough. But it was made easy by the protection of Srila Prabhupada and our connection to ISKCON. We were connected to ISKCON in India, uh, but I don't think so. We were so strongly connected until we came to Boston. And when we saw the mercy of the food, because there were times we didn't have money to eat food and we will go to ISKCON. And the ISKCON walk was probably 45 minutes of to 60 minutes of a walk. And we'll enjoy that walk as a couple. And then we get to ISKCON. And then the Panditji there will see my hungry face and he'll offer me 2 plates of prasadam always. Such a mercy. I mean, I'm so emotional about ISKCON's feast is because it saved us so many days, so many lunches, and so many dinners when we were at Boston. And then again, we see these God sent saviors, right? The Westerner at the college, or the Panditji at the ISKCON temple. Uh, and now when I connect the dots, I see what was happening. It was Prabhupada's protection. It doesn't end there, right? We decided to stay in Boston only for 2 months. Thanks to ISKCON's connection, we said, no, I'll complete my MBA in Boston. We don't want to go back to San Francisco. We decided to stay at Boston, but we didn't have living. Again, we only had half 2 months. That girl had another girl coming after 2 months. So we were sitting in a bus to New York. My college was taking us to New York, and Neha and I were talking. We have 1 week, $700, where to find the house. And then there is a Bangladeshi girl sitting right behind me from my college. I have never talked to her. Maybe she saw me in this school, and she stands up and says, hey, I heard you guys talking. My boyfriend wants to live with me, so he will empty up the house tomorrow and you can live at his house. Uh, and this is a Bangladeshi girl, right? Definitely has some connection to Krishna. She actually follows Hindu religion as of today. And then she stands up and offers the hand of help. You can say, I'm capable, I am skilled, I'm studying in the best college of the world. You could say all that, but there are situations in life that only your protector protects you. And it was again that situation. Immediately the next day we went to the house, and then 10 days after, the owner comes and sees us. And there's a temple that we keep everywhere, and the owner comes and sees us and says, who are you? We say, hey, we are living. And we were new. We didn't know the process of subleasing and all. We were staying for 15, 20 more days, and he didn't like it, but he saw Krishna on our table. He's an Italian. He looked like a goon. And then he went back. Next day was my final exam, and I was so stressed that if he throws us out, where will Neha go? Because I can stay anywhere, but where will Neha go? The next day we ran to ISKCON again. We didn't say anything. I think Neha was crying. I was sitting tense, and the Panditji comes and says, "Don't worry, everything will be fine." We never told him anything. He just comes, offers us the prasadam again, and says, "Don't worry, anything that is happening will be fine." He didn't care to ask what was that. He just blessing. And that was again Prabhupada's blessing. The same owner comes after 7 days and says, Umesh and Neha, you're fine living here. Don't worry about it. I worked it out with the person who gave this house to you. And that was it. I think from that day, we knew there's a special hand protecting us. And then everywhere we go today, every city we go to, we make it happen that we go to ISKCON and offer our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and to Krishna. And then finally, when we came to Austin, we were looking for ISKCON. 3 times we visited, it was shut off. We didn't have Hare Krishna temple of Austin that time. And then there we go, the 4th time, we are offering darshan to Krishna, and a hand comes from the back and taps me. Are you Umesh and Neha from Seattle? That was Satya Prabhu. And that was it. The rest, we really feel blessed associating with this congregation. We feel blessed that our daughter is getting a living that she would not even get in India. And it is all to Prabhupadaji's mission and it's gone. And we are so thankful. And I don't think so anything we do in our life will ever be able to pay back, but we'll still try to, follow Prabhupadaji's mission and remember that hand of miracle that saved us in the Western world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu and Mataji. That was really very wonderful, very heart touching, and thank you for sharing your personal stories and such wonderful miracles that you had. Really amazing. Thank you very much, Prabhu and Mataji. Next, we have Namit Prabhu, Shashi Mataji, Taru, and Naman. Hare Krishna, Prabhu and Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. I would like to begin by offering obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, Bolo Shri Prabhupada ki jai. My heartfelt gratitude to Sri Satyasara Prabhu and Veena Mataji for giving me this opportunities to speak and pay homage to Sri Prabhupada today. Unlike many of you esteemed devotees here, I am a complete novice in bhakti practice, and I don't have an iota of doubt in my mind that I have zero qualifications, either academically or as a devotee, to even attempt to speak about glories of Sri Prabhupada. But whatever I'm going to speak today is a pure translation of my childhood readings and my perspective of those stories in the context of Bhagavad Gita teachings that I have gained little bit due to my association with Austin Bhakti Sangha. So please accept my apologies in advance if I say something which does not align with your understanding and deep knowledge. Now, thinking about what to speak today, my mind went back to my childhood. Some of you would probably remember a kid's storybook called as Nandan. And I remember two stories very distinctly from there about Sri Prabhupada, which I would like to share today. And Sri Prabhupada used to narrate these stories quite often. So the first story goes like this. There was a young man in a village doing regular farming job. He got bored with that, got intrigued with what do these sadhus and devotees and sannyasis do in Himalayas. So one day he decided to leave home, went in Himalayas for 10 years, came in association of some yogis there to attain perfections and siddhis. And after 10 years, came back to his village. And some of you who have spent time in villages would know in villages in the evening, it's very common for all the elderlies, young people in the villages to assemble near the panchayats, talk about stuff in general. And it was quite natural for this young man, having spent 10 years in Himalayas, to kind of show off, trying to tell everyone what he has done. So they were all talking, and one of the persons asked him, "So, young man, you spent 10 years in Himalayas. What have you done? We have heard quite interesting stories about yogic perfections, tantric siddhis that people attain there. What have you learned? Please let us know." And then this person goes and say, "Yes, of course, I have finished a siddhi perfection that makes me super lightweight." So obviously all the villagers got intrigued, said, "Okay, what does that actually mean, being lightweighted?" And he says, "I'm so lightweight now with all my siddhis that I can actually walk on water with bare feet." Nobody obviously believed him. And then he says, "I know you all don't believe me. Come tomorrow morning near the banks of the river and I'll show you how it is done." So obviously next day there was a big show that happened. All the villagers gathered near the village, near the river. I'm sorry. And then this person effortlessly walked across the river as if he was walking on a hard floor without any effort. So there was a lot of clapping. Everyone was applauding his effort, saying, "Yeah, wow, you have attained great siddhi," etc. And then there was an old man that came to him and says, "My dear boy, after working for 10 years, is this all you have learned?" And then the young man says, "What do you mean, uncle?" And he says, "I think all you have learned is just 2 cents worth of siddhis." he got very offended, the young man, and says, why do you say so? Because he says, yeah, granted you're able to cross the river, but I can pay a boat person 2 cents and he'll cross the river with me for 2 cents. So that was a story that at that point I found very, very funny and interesting. Another story that Sri Prabhupada used to narrate quite a lot was sometime in late 1970s, after doing the initial establishment of ISKCON temples across the world. Prabhupada was sitting in some kind of meeting with with life members of ISKCON, and one of the businessmen asked Prabhu, I know many jadugars, Siddh Purushes in Calcutta and around who can even pluck a rasgulla from air and present it to us. Won't you say that's magic? What kind of magic you can do? And then Sri Prabhupada says, I went to United States with just 50 rupees with me. And from there, now we have ISKCON's temples and properties all across the world in millions and billions of dollars. Don't you think that's a miracle in itself? And the businessman gave it a thought and said, of course, Prabhu, that's a much bigger miracle. So at the time when I read those stories in my childhood, as I said, I thought those were very witty and funny. Now, due to my association with Austin Bhakti Sangha, Sri Satyasara Prabhu, whatever teachings he has imbibed in us, I have a very different perspective of why Sri Prabhupada narrated those stories. So I wanted to share that with you. You know, Isaac Newton once said, truth is ever to be found in simplicity and not in multiplicity and confusion of things. So this saying is very apt for Sri Prabhupada's stories and the way his teachings were, which is very simple and unambiguous. While Prabhupada was narrating these stories, now, if you think about it, did he want to belittle the achievements of someone who had attained siddhis in some form, either being able to float on water or pluck rasgullas from thin air, or was there a broader message he wanted to convey? I believe there was a broader message, and that broader message is something that I'm able to relate back to Bhagavad Gita teachings as well. The 2 cent stories and producing Rasgulla all point to, if you think about it, material siddhis or attainment, which have no relevance or significance in the spiritual journey. For example, would being able to walk on water take you any closer to Krishna? The answer is no. Can you buy material capabilities to cross the river by paying money? Yes, of course. What do we say about crossing the river now? I mean, with the new age and time that we're living in, you can pay $50 and even travel to Mars and moon if we want to. But if you think about it, with all our wealth, can we buy anything that forges us even one iota forward in the Krishna consciousness path? No, because spiritual progression can only be achieved by strictly following the bhakti path. Otherwise, we'll continue to be entangled in this vicious cycle of birth, death, and miseries. As I said, I'm able to relate some of these now to Bhagavad Gita sayings and teachings. As mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Tvakta deham punarjanamam neti mamoti so Arjuna. So Krishna says, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in the material world, but attains my eternal adore. So that's the message, that we can be entangled in these material things, but it doesn't take us anywhere in the spiritual path. Additionally, in our next janma, would we remember these skills of crossing the river or carry any of our wealth or material knowledge to the next janma? The answer again is no. As mentioned in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, Arjuna asks, "Oh Krishna, what happens to these spiritual aspirants who begin their journey, but due to unsteady mind, they are unable to reach their goals?" And Sri Krishna assures him that those who strive in God realization are able to overcome evil, and God keeps an account of all our accumulated spiritual merits. I know Sri Satyasara Prabhu says it's a fixed deposit. It's only one way. Whatever we put in there in the path of bhakti always stays there across all janmas. So God keeps an account of all our accumulated spiritual merits from his past lives. and reawakens their wisdom in future births. In this way, they can continue the journey from where they left off in the previous janma. And that's kind of our fast track path to God. So very simple message that Sri Prabhupada conveyed through these stories is that one should spend as much time and effort as possible in pursuing the Krishna consciousness path instead of getting entangled in material achievements. So devotees, these are a couple of illustrations I wanted to share today of how, using simple stories, Sri Prabhupada explained these eternal concepts from Bhagavad Gita to his disciples and to the entire world to make us understand and how to progress in the path of Krishna consciousness. With this, I'll wrap up my narration and hand over to Veena Mataji for sharing a small musical tribute by our kids Taru and Naman in the honor and for Sri Prabhupada and Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Bolo Sri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Namit Prabhu. That was very beautiful two stories that you shared and the realizations. And it's so true. If we become, we'll become entangled in this material world. And if, because of Prabhupada, we have at least the knowledge now of how to get out of this material world. Thank you very much, Prabhu. And Taru and Naman, that was a really beautiful, melodious bhajan and kirtan. Thank you very much. With that, we move. Next is Pankaj Prabhu, Shika Mataji, Vandya and Sevya. Hare Krishna Prabhu Mataji. Hare Krishna Chatan.
Hare Krishna Vinamataji. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisance at your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada is very merciful on us. It is because of him that we get to worship Lord Krishna and Laddu Gopal, and it is because of him that we have the temple. Srila Prabhupada inspired me by his determination and his full trust in Krishna. He came to USA to spread the word of Krishna with very little money, but he had great determination. He had 2 heart attacks, but still fully trusted Krishna and still chanted his names. Srila Prabhupada taught us how to live the life of a Vaishnava, to offer everything we eat to Krishna and sing Krishna songs and bhajans and do arti of the deities, and to remember how special every devotee is and to respect all other devotees and people without seeing their external qualities. Prabhupada assures us that if we work for Krishna and if we do that work with love, the Lord will give us a chance to come to him. Krishna made special arrangements for us by sending his specially empowered representative and his great messenger, Srila Prabhupada, who helps us bring our path back to Godhead. I'll talk about mine. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada has created so many chances for every single person and devotee to come on the right path of Krishna consciousness. Through his books and scriptures, so many devotees and kids have progressed through Krishna consciousness and the path of righteousness. I remember I was reading the book with my book club, Chasing Rhinos with the Swami, and it showed how much support Srila Prabhupada gave them when they were having hard times in setting the temple up. Something I learned about Prabhupada is about his name. Prabhupada has a very profound meaning to it, which means Pada means one who's at whose feet, and Prabhu means master or one who is always found at the lotus feet of Krishna. So we should all pray to Srila Prabhupada to always be in the service of the Lord and keep us at the right path.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschate Deshtarine. My humble obeisances to my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. I do not have any qualification to be speaking today, but it is for my own purification and through your mercy that I'm speaking. When I think about you, Srila Prabhupada, it makes me smile with happiness. Just thinking about your life and just hearing all the Vyas Puja offerings by the devotees, it makes me just feel very happy with joy. And when I think about you, I feel that you are a royal king and a savior who has always served everybody. And the service which you've done is with utmost humility. Hearing your interviews in the book Science of Self-Realization, that is the first book I formally read in Krishna consciousness with Satyasai Prabhu and Jaya Mataji, I was just amazed and surprised by the philosophy which you gave and how easily you gave that philosophy to everybody, no matter what walks of life we all were. And the philosophy which you gave just coming alone here was with so much grit and confidence and fearlessness, answering those questions just the way you felt about it and not sugarcoating it. And those were some very, very difficult questions. And at the same time, I also felt your sincerity to help every soul, every fallen soul like me, just like a father would. So Srila Prabhupada, you are my father. You are my spiritual father. I was born in 77, and that's when you took the holy abode, but you are my father, and I feel your presence in so many different ways, including now. Whenever I visited the temple, I would unconsciously, subconsciously bow down to you and pray from the core of my heart to get Bhagavad Gita knowledge. And magically, you sent a warrior of devotees, an army of devotees who showed unconditional mercy and continued to guide us on this path. And I'm like your rebellious child, where I kept questioning this knowledge. I kept questioning so many things, but all those devotees, even till date, have been so patient with me and my questions and my conduct. So thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada. Last 18 months, the whole world is going through so much turmoil with this pandemic and lockdown, and we hear all about it, everybody we talk to. But just your divine grace kept us protected with scriptural studies as part of our Bhakti Shastri class, the temple activities, the association of devotees, the prasadam, the chanting. While we were sensitive to everything which is happening around, the profound knowledge and mercy which you gave just kept us going. And the causeless mercy of gifting us Srimad Bhagavatam and Shri Shripa Gopal Raj. I mean, even though we had no qualification whatsoever, but Srimad Bhagavatam came to our house, Shri Shripa Gopal Raj came to our house, even without any effort on our part, even without us stepping out of this house, shows that your mercy has no bounds. We are very grateful to you and to all the Vaishnavas in our congregation who have kept us on this path. On this occasion, I beg you to synchronize all that I feel I believe in, to synchronize all that with your teaching, and may I develop a very strong understanding of your instructions and follow them with the unwavering determination and faith. So many times I've read your books, so many times I've heard so many lectures, but it doesn't go inside the core of my heart. May today I get so connected to you that your words directly enter my soul and my heart and guide me throughout this path. I do not have that purity, and that's why it's not happening. Your mercy has no bound, though. Please continue to give me the strength and an opportunity to serve you and Krishna and the devotees for the rest of my life. I also have the desire to host a welcoming ceremony for Shri Shripa Gopal Raj, and then also Srila Prabhupada, to have a welcoming ceremony to welcome you as an Archa Vigra in our house, because that is truly transformational for us. So thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for everything you've done for us. And our eternal journey will continue together. And may my eternal bond with you continue forever. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees, dear His Divine and Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances onto your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Just the mere fact that I'm talking here about Srila Prabhupada shows that how merciful he is, because I'm probably one of the most undeserving person talking about Srila Prabhupada. So just I'm going to talk very few words, but very, very thankful to him for his wonderful knowledge which he has given to the whole world. His knowledge of Vedic literature, his vision of this world, with the concept of very easy concept for this Kali Yuga, like chanting of Mahamantra, reading and hearing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam has really made me realize why we are here, what's the importance of us being human on this earth. Earlier, I was not aware of Krishna conscious movement, but because of his causeless mercy and the mercy of other senior devotees like Abhichan Prabhu and Guruvani Mataji, Abhay Prabhu and Rohini Mataji and surely Satyasar Prabhu and Jai Mataji, we got introduced to this, and fallen soul like I was introduced to this movement. Earlier, I thought it's just a mere organization, but after reading, his books, I came to know who is God. Because even though we are Hindus, we really didn't know that who is God, who is demigod, and what's the nature of this world and human beings. So, and it also like we have gone to so many organizations, but nobody could explain who are we, why are we here, where are we going. So definitely ISKCON has really helped us solve all these mysteries. I call them biggest mysteries of my life. And because of you and your mercy, now we are reading your books, attending Bhakti Shastri classes, chanting Maha Mantra, and it's definitely bringing a change to my life. So I'm very, very thankful for your teachings, your knowledge, which you have given to us to make our life better. So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Mataji, Vandhya and Sevya. That was a really heartfelt glorification, and you literally brought tears in my eyes, Mataji. We are so merciful. Prabhupada is so merciful to us that we have got this opportunity. We are truly fortunate to be here. Thank you, Mataji and Prabhu. That was very, very beautiful. Hare Krishna. So before we continue, we would like to report the preaching efforts that we are doing for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. In the area of cultivation of transcendental knowledge, there are multiple weekly programs to propagate and teach the transcendental knowledge as taught by Srila Prabhupada. There are 7 weekly classes, each designed for unique audiences to explore Krishna consciousness through Srila Prabhupada's books. We have Bhagavad Sangha program, which is a study of Srimad Bhagavatam and presentation by devotee families, sharing their personal and heartfelt realizations on a selected set of verses or pastimes. Then there is Bhakti Shastri courses, which is a systematic study of Srila Prabhupada's books under the instruction of Satyasara Prabhu and Jai Subhadra Mataji. We have strictly administered assignments, exams, and deep discussions in order to develop the spiritual inquisitiveness. We have completed Isopnishad and currently we are reading Bhagavad Gita. And then we have Bhagavad Gita classes for beginners, which is classes for newcomers introducing Srila Prabhupada's books that focus on the basic concepts and practical application, serving as a gateway to spiritual curiosity. More than 50 people have begun their spiritual life just through these classes. Finally, we have Bhakti Bhushan program, which is a summary studies of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. We cover the overview of the chapters, high-level analysis of various themes spoken in the chapters, and understanding of essential principles from Srila Prabhupada's purports. Satyasara Prabhu is conducting these classes, and we have completed till Bhagavad Gita chapter 11. In fact, we are very fortunate to hear from His Holiness Prabhupada Swami Maharaj summary of chapter 11, the universal form. With that, we continue with our next program, which is our next set of devotees, which is Prabhakaran Prabhu, Sri Devi Mataji, Vishwa, and Ritila. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh. So, Nama Om Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine, Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharani, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Paschatya Desha Tarini. My humble obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. So, I wanted to start by thanking Srila Prabhupada for starting the Hare Krishna movement. So we are fortunate to learn the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That is very critical piece, and basically in this Kali Yuga, chanting the holy name is the way we connect with the God, and we have to chant with an authentic holy name, right? So in that way, Srila Prabhupada's Hare Krishna movement has given us a way to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and connect to Godhead. Many people like me are now able to connect to Godhead, and hopefully one day we will have a path forward and attain Godhead. And thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for the Mahamantra, letting us know about the Mahamantra. Another thing that I want to talk about is Srila Prabhupada, thank you for establishing home peace. Right, I truly believe that the peace of the entire world is dependent on how peaceful the home is. The peaceful home promotes peaceful community. Peaceful community promotes a peaceful nation, and peaceful nation promotes peaceful universe. So that I strongly believe in that. And Srila Prabhupada, with your 4 regulative principles of ISKCON, no meat eating, gambling, intoxication, and illicit sex, it is pretty critical that everybody follows that. So their house, the home becomes peaceful. So many families that we have heard have, they have separated due to, one of these problems, right? Intoxication or, illicit sex, whatever. We hear them all around time. But with those regulative principles, Srila Prabhupada, with your mercy, devotees today are able to build a strong foundation at their home, and their kids and families are staying together, and eventually we will be able to build out a peaceful community and a peaceful nation and a peaceful world eventually. So thank you so much for establishing those 4 regulative principles. And today, many leaders are choosing military to establish peace. And Srila Prabhupada, you have told us there's also another way to establish peace. And I sincerely appreciate that. And that method is through creating God in the center of the civilization versus the the sense gratification. So entire world today, wherever you go, is centered around sense gratification. Any billboard that you see is all about sense gratification, right? Here is a cool beer, here is a nice TV, here is a nice vehicle that you can travel. Everything is about sense gratification. When the world is turning around sense gratification, Prabhupada, with your teachings, we now know how to lead our lives with God centered around, and therefore I think this is very important for everybody, because if we start to satisfy our senses, there is no end to it, and we're going to end up in a hellish nightmare. So thank you so much for resetting that path, and also helping us lead our lives centered around God. And lastly, I know in the interest of time, I'll cut it short. Srila Prabhupada, you are a Siksha Guru to us, and we're not fortunate enough to see you or associate with you when you are in this world, but we consider ourselves very fortunate, so we can associate yourselves through your Vani. So in our house, you are more like my father, because like same as what Shikha Mataji told about, right? It's like, Father, you told us, how to celebrate festivals, right? How to observe fasting, and also, you told us how to advance in bhakti, right? Everything, right? From the basic on how to, offer devotional service, all aspects of it. So that is really good. We've been in India, back in India, we've been following traditions that were followed by my mom and dad, but just for me, it was all blind rituals, right? But now I can follow those rituals with knowledge. And thank you so much for imparting knowledge in our family and in me. And also thank you for being like a father, telling every aspects of how to lead our life. So I really sincerely appreciate your sacrifice you have to do to help so many families and people like us in elevating them to from spiritual life. Finally, I want to wrap up by kindly requesting your mercy or seeking your mercy, so that Krishna may engage in his devotional service. So I kindly request you to bless us, bless my family, everybody, all devotees in this congregation, so that they may get devotional service from Krishna. So thank you so much, Prabhupada, for all the sacrifices that you have done to elevate human society. Thank you, Mataji. Over to Sri Devi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I am still a neophyte devotee, but I'm very, very thankful to Srila Prabhupada. So I would like to share a few of my reasoning why I'm so thankful to Srila Prabhupada. So before knowing ISKCON, I didn't really have very much of the basics of Hinduism because of the material world education that I got, and I was not very much into deity worship either. So I'm very thankful to ISKCON, where I learned that Krishna and the holy name is one and the same. So that gives me confidence that I can reach God by chanting or chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I can see God one day. I can realize myself. So I'm very thankful for that basic thing. And there are several other basic things that I learned from ISKCON. So I have never met anyone or a group of individuals who are selfless or trying to engage in a pure devotional service. But thanks to ISKCON, now I am associated with more than one person who are in that path. That will help me motivated. This is true. I have never thought that human can be in this earth without selfishness. So now I'm sure that there can be people who can do pure devotional service. One second. Sorry, some false alarm here. Then I never knew that we are not this body. We are a spirit soul. That was a big groundbreaking knowledge that I got from ISKCON. I am thankful for that. Now I am in a path of not associating everything with my body and trying to think and move away from the body mentally to help realize. So I'm very much thankful for that learning that I got from ISKCON. And then I would say that I was in, just like everyone else, I was in search of real happiness in acquiring material wealth and other material activities. And now after the learnings from Bhagavad Gita, I realized that that is not a possibility. So now I am trying to pursue the path of happiness through devotional service. I'm not there yet, but that is another major thing that I learned from ISKCON teachings, thanks to Srila Prabhupada. Then I also thought that by being good or in the mode of goodness, I can reach God. Now I learned that by doing the acts of goodness, I will still acquire karma. That is something that I never had knowledge of. Thanks to Srila Prabhupada's teachings and his wonderful purport, that now I am also working on that, on how I could reach God by doing good and doing the things that needed to reach Godhead. With all this, another thing that I wanted to share was when in India, when we go to temple, we are doing deity worship, and we were hearing a lot of Bhagavad Gita verses or any other mantras in Sanskrit, but never knew the meaning of any of those verses. Now I'm very thankful to Srila Prabhupada, his wonderful purport, which is giving the real meaning of the verses. We know that, and that is helping us to realize God, rather than just without understanding, hearing some verses, we were not going anywhere. So thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Over to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhakaran Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Shridev Mataji. That was very beautiful glorification, and we are so fortunate. Srila Prabhupada has given us so much knowledge, and we shall forever be indebted. And today we all are chanting, we all are here because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada told us that it's not Krishna and his holy name is not non-different. So let's keep chanting and be happy. With that, thank you, Prabhu and Mataji. With that, next we have Prasanna Prabhu.
So Mataji, real quick, we have Mridula who's like to glorify Prabhupada.
Okay, sorry, Prabhu. Vishwa and Mridula. Hare Krishna, Vishwa.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm just going to say a few words, but I would like to thank Prabhupada because thanks to him, I've come to understand Hinduism in a more in-depth level. When I used to go to other temples in Austin, I didn't know much about Hinduism and the meaning of my prayers, but now I understand Hinduism much better thanks to Prabhupada. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishwa. That was very nice. Is Mridula there?
Yes,
Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today, we thank Srila Prabhupada for creating ISKCON. This movement has taught me a lot about Hinduism I didn't know before and things that I have put to use in my daily activities. I have received so much knowledge about the real world and have gotten closer to God. Thus, I thank you for this opportunity you have brought to the world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mridula. That is very nice. Very beautiful clarification. Thank you very much. With that, we move to Prasanna Prabhu, Sridevi Mataji, and Chaitanya. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, although we are not qualified to speak about the great Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. India is the place of various cultures. Nothing is common in India. We have various different languages. If we take the art forms, that's also different. We have Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, Manipuri, Odissi, etc. And dresses is also different. We have different types of dhotis, saris, pajama, kurtas, everything. And temple architecture is also different. We have marble stones, black stones, etc. And if you take the food, that's totally different. We have various kinds of dishes all throughout India. But what is that one common which is uniting India? What is that one common thing which is in India are the books, the scriptures. The Vedas are common throughout India, and Rama and Krishna are same. So dear Srila Prabhupada, thank you for extrapolating this to the whole world. You have brought the scriptures to the whole world. Srimad Bhagavatam, you have carried Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita to the entire world and showed us Krishna. He is not just Supreme Personality of Godhead for one sector of the part of the world, but he is Supreme Personality for the whole universe. Thank you for providing us this knowledge. And if you see, when we tie a garland, we have different kinds of flowers. The flowers are nothing like we people, like we've come from various cultures, food, etc. So the binding thread underneath are the scriptures. Along with the scriptures, we should have this bhakti, jnana, and vairagya. So the knot is nothing but the Sanatana Dharma. So the knot and thread should be very strong. Then only like we people will not fall apart. Otherwise, if the Sanatana Dharma and the scriptures, if it is not strong enough, the flowers will fall apart. And you have given us the scriptures with so many beautiful detailed purports to make our Sanatana Dharma stronger and stronger. If we take some references from Bhagavatam, Krishna daily enters into the forest of Vrindavan, far from the village. And deep in the forest, it is very hot. Vrindavan is also always very hot. And Krishna was noticing that the trees were like giving shade. And it will provide the shade, even though like with that mood of serving the cowherd boys. It's not only serving Krishna, it's serving cowherd boys as well. That is the life of trees. Trinadapi suni chena tarurapi sahishana. Just serving and serving, tolerating conditions and protecting others from the same conditions, whether it is a hot summer or a snow or anything, it just provides us the same shade. So similar to the trees, how it maintain each and every living entity, we also have to provide like means we have to give our activities for the benefit of the others. That is the main and important lesson from Srila Prabhupada. He expects all the disciples, his representatives, to represent Krishna consciousness in that same way. When we go to the trees, it will never makes us disappointed. It gives various things, flowers, fruits, even with the tree bark, wood, everything is useful. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada also asks us devotees, we have to give everything to the welfare of the others. So we have come across with various devotees, and we have always seen that they always try to satisfy Srila Prabhupada's words, not just by preaching. They are always very compassionate to us, but how they show their lives, how they are dedicated their lives to the service of Krishna. They show us that way, like they are always being very compassionate and always use their intelligence, mind, wealth, everything in the service of Krishna. So we are very, very fortunate to be in the association of such devotees, and it's very delightful to see such devotees, and we are so fortunate. And also Srila Prabhupada has taught us how we have to live a life of a Vaishnava. Like means we have to take bath many times, and we should not eat so much, and also we should not eat little. We have to eat only Krishna prasadam. And how we can able to observe Vekadashi Vratam, like means without association of devotees, we cannot follow all these vows and austerities. It's only because of the devotees. And how devotees have helped us, like to control our mind and tongue. We should not find any fault finding with others. We always have to appreciate. Just we cannot appreciate others by designation, but seeing their pure qualities, like that. Everything is like devotees has taught us. It's all only because of Srila Prabhupada. So on this very special day, we pray to Srila Prabhupada, a great Acharya, to live a life how Krishna asked us to lead a life. So we pray to the Lordships to give the infinite relationship with him. And please bless us to be in the service of Krishna, not to have any other material desires, just to be in the service of Krishna. Thank you so much, devotees.
Hare Krishna, everybody. So I have listed down my thoughts into 4 major areas. The first one is about appreciation, and the second one is about admiration for Srila Prabhupada, and the third one is about authority of the Vedas, and the fourth one is giving us a family. So these are the 4 things I had in my mind. So to start with appreciation, the one thing that I have learned in Krishna consciousness is the way devotees appreciate other devotees, even non-devotees actually. Appreciation is one of the most often beginning thing in a spiritual life, and it comes with the connection with devotees. That's what I have felt. And it's one of the first etiquettes, or Vaishnava etiquettes, in appreciating good qualities in others. There may be 100 bad qualities, but they pick and choose the good qualities and they start appreciating. And that softens and that slowly eradicates the bad qualities. So I have learned this from devotees. They constantly appreciate the good qualities. so that we learn and we slowly demolish, or defeat the bad qualities in us. So the second one is about admiration. So at the very senile age and a very old age, Srila Prabhupada, he traveled from India, he came to US, he started the whole movement. So when often at that age, people say, okay, I hang up my boots and I'm done with my life. I'll sit in a corner, eat, pray, and I'll slowly pass out, pass this world. That is the time he came. He mustered all this courage, just to satisfy his guru's words. He came and he started his movement. So that's a big inspiration for us, that you can do at any part of your life. Now, age is not a factor at all. You can start anything if you have God on your side. If you have Krishna on your side, yes, everything is possible. Age is not a barrier at all. So that's a big inspiration, and I really admire Srila Prabhupada coming to US at that age, and he brought in the US people and non-Hindu culture here. So that's the admiration part. And the third one is about authority. So time and again, Vedas have told us that you are not the body, you are the soul, and you are created by the Supreme Lord, and He is the one, He is the master, and you are a slave. So this has been told many, many times, and it is very hard for us to believe in, because it's not easy. So it's there in the books. It's there in the books. Everything is in written form, but we need an acharya to spread this and to make us understand. Like, if I give a medical book, I can read. It's in English. I can read. I can understand, but I cannot do anything. I cannot become a doctor. So make us understand what is written and why is it truth and how to understand. There's a step-by-step process, and it is clearly articulated by Srila Prabhupada. So he brought that particular divine knowledge into a book form, and he spread that knowledge to ordinary people, very ordinary people like us, who have mundane knowledge, who have no knowledge, rather I would say, I have no knowledge. So he spread that knowledge to us. So that authoritative knowledge, the Vedas, he diluted without diluting the essence of it. He spread it very nicely in a readable form to us. So that is authoritative. And finally, family. Having come from India to US, I mean, we are sort of leftovers, like we are individuals, but ISKCON has given us a family. I would say that in everything we do, I would say ISKCON is more of a family to us. The Bhakti Vriksh, the kind of devotees' help and support in everything we did is like a big family. I can say very confidently, more than my relatives, ISKCON is a big family. And for all my family members, they're a big family for us. And it gave us a platform to know what we know. For example, I had a love to cook, but I cook only once in a while. But it gave me a platform where I can use all my senses for Lord Krishna, all my hands and my brain, everything to cook and to serve prasadam and to strategize various functions. It gave me a platform to raise not only in corporate but also to utilize those knowledge into Krishna consciousness. That is a very good thing. And I felt really happy that when people come and say that the prasadam I cooked was delicious, it gave me a lot of energy and say, yeah, I'm at least doing something for the benefit of Krishna and for the benefit of the devotees. So it gave us a good platform and a family. So I really thank Prabhupada. If not Prabhupada, I think nothing would have happened. He came at a very senile age and he proved it, and he proved it to a community which is far, like technically much superior. We came from third world to a much developed world, and he proved that what you see is just not what it is. You don't see soul, but he proved that it is the life-giving factor for you. So I thank Prabhupada and all the devotees for giving us an opportunity to talk. Hare Krishna. Chaitanya.
So I started attending classes when I was 5, and I always wondered how Matajis and Prabhus taught us various lessons from Ramayana, Mahabharata, and many stories which can be easily understandable. First and most important aspect, I learned that we are not the body, we're the soul, and also we are part and parcel of Sri Krishna. Secondly, all my best friends are from our devotee family, who truly appreciate me and help me grow. I'm fortunate for making lifelong friends at ISKCON. I developed many things like making origamis, dramas, debates, drawings in all service of Sri Krishna. Also during Gita camps, I learned cooking lessons, so I got interested in making cookies and cakes. While at ISKCON is never boring, knowing about like Arjuna's archery, Hanuman's jumping skills, and Rama's lives, Krishna's various childhood pastimes by killing so many demons. Thank you so much for all devotees, and certainly all this was possible because of Srila Prabhupada. I pray for your blessings to become a pure devotee. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Mataji and Chaitanya. That was a very beautiful glorification of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada has given us so many opportunities of serving Krishna. And we have such a wonderful devotee association. We are truly blessed. Thank you again. It was really very wonderful. Thank you. Next, we have Amrita Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Let me share my screen, Mataji. Can you see my screen, Mataji?
Yes.
Hare Krishna devotees, thank you, Veena Mataji, His Grace Satyasar Prabhu, and Jai Subhadradi Dasi Mataji for giving me this opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada. I am not at all qualified to speak about Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, but I'm going to try my best, and I feel it's a very auspicious day also to talk about him. It's a Teacher's Day celebrated in India, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishna's birth anniversary. So I think this is the best time to talk about our master, our guru, Srila Prabhupada. I'm going to keep this short in the interest of time. But I feel me and my family, Ahana and Amit, we are forever indebted to Srila Prabhupada for his teachings, his mission to spread Krishna consciousness movement throughout the world. And the first class literature that he has in Bhagavad Gita as it is and Srimad Bhagavatam is amazing. I have never, seen such kind of like devotion and dedication to write the books and live the principles from his book. Then I think things like Ratha Yatras, Kirtans, Prasadam have very special place in my heart, and the opportunity that we get to serve in even like smallest is me and my family are very grateful for that. So of course the words are not enough to glorify Srila Prabhupada. I'm very impressed by his intention where he had the mission to to feed everyone the prasadam. No one should go hungry in the radius of 5 to 10 miles in the other temple, and that is something that I am very inspired of. So with this, I would just share a small story that I had got related to prasadam and in the prasadam group. So I thought it will be nice for us to hear that story. So this is picture of Srila Prabhupada cooking. I guess this is in New York when he was when he came to New York, and he had this special cooker made up of brass and tin inside, and I would read the story of that. So let's see. I hope everyone can see the screen. Srila Prabhupada brought his sannyasi cooker with him in 1965 because he did his own cooking. This cooker is very nice. Prabhupada used it at 26 2nd Avenue. There's 3 layers. It is made up of brass with tin inside. You put the dal at the first level from the bottom, you put the rice in the second level, and put the vegetables in the third level, all in water. The dal takes longer to cook, so that's why it's at the bottom. Rice takes shorter, and the vegetables are slightly boiled. Then on the cover of the cooker, If you take off the cover off, it becomes a pan for frying. So you would take the vegetables, put the spices and ghee, and then make the vegetable. They are already soft, so you just have to spend 5 minutes with masala. And then for the dal, you make the I think choka or tadka you can call, where you cook the spices and pour them into the dal. This way Prabhupada had vegetable, rice and dal. Very easy. The sannyasi independence. Prabhupada personally told me, if you cook by your own hand, you will never get sick. If you only eat that, what you cook, you will never get sick. He told me many times. This is article and photo courtesy by His Grace Gaur Gamumi Das. I think this story is very much applicable, especially to me. I like to eat. Sometimes we like to eat restaurant food, so this is a reminder for myself that we need to eat prasadam and eat the food that you make with your own hands. This is a small story. And I think I just wanted to play this song for a few seconds because this is very near and dear to my heart. Let me know if you can hear. Yadi Prabhupada hoito, tobe ki hoito, ye jivana bahita kishe. Yadi Prabhupada hoito, tobe ki hoito, ye jivana bahita kishe. Nitai gorera, apara karuna kedi. It's a long song, so I would recommend everyone to listen this. But yeah, this was my small glorification of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Veena Mataji, for the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, that was very beautiful. The story you narrated of how Prabhupada was cooking, and we are so fortunate that Prabhupada has taught us how to make prasadam and how to distribute prasadam. And because of Prabhupada, we are able to get the very sumptuous Sunday prasadam, Sunday feast prasadam. I know all of you all must be looking forward to it. And that's my favorite song too as well, Mataji, Yadi Prabhupada na hoito. What would have happened to us? So thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So before we continue, a quick report on preaching efforts for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. If for the kids and the teens, we have 4 kid classes for various ages and levels: Damodar class, Nand Kishore class, Gaur Kishore, Vedic classes. It's important to nurture our young children from childhood to think and act spiritually by engaging them in pastimes of Krishna and by imparting our values and tradition. 75 children attend weekly classes, learning bhajans, reciting slokas, and sharing verse realizations during our Sunday feast. During our weekly classes, Guruvani Mataji, along with Neha Mataji, has been conducting these classes, and children are flourishing under Guruvani Mataji's shelter. And for our youth is our future, and our goal is to build a foundation for Srila Prabhupada's mission to continue and flourish for generations to come. We have teens classes under the guidance of Satyasara Prabhu, along with Harini. 25 teens are learning Srila Prabhupada's teaching from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and exploring the practice of Krishna consciousness in a teen-friendly way. The classes are highly interactive, and teens are learning important life lessons through learning of scriptures. And finally, the University of Texas at Austin program. We have in the last 5 years, the UT Bhakti Yoga Club has touched over 1,000 students through weekly prasadam distribution, yoga and meditation program, sannyasi guest speaker events, and festival celebrations. This has been a stepping stone for 32 students to experience bhakti who have now seriously taken up Krishna consciousness. Previously, during the school's annual Diwali celebration, over 600 plates of prasadam have been distributed to the students. Currently, Sri Chaitanya Prabhu and Lalita Kund Mataji are conducting these classes very well and with lots of devotion. With that, we next have Naresh Prabhu and Arundhati Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhu and Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna everyone. I'm going to sing a prayer on Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, please accept this prayer on behalf of all devotees. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagati Sadma Bandhu Muni Savadana Mate Bandhu Muni Savadana Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai E Bhava Tori E Jai Jahara Prasade Bhai E Bhava Tori E Jai Krishna Prapti Ho Ja Hoite Krishna Prapti Ho Ja Hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite Te Koriye Kya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite Te Kori Hoye Kya Arna Kori Ho Mane Asha Arna Kori Ho Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Ise Uttamagati Shri Guru Charane Rati Ise Uttamagati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Kaksudan Jillo Jai Janme Janme Prabhu Sai Jaksudan Jillo Jai Janme Janme Prabhu Sai Divya Jan Harid Prakashito Divya Jan Harido Prashati Ko Prema Bhakti Jaha Hote Avidya Vinasha Jate Prema Bhakti Jaha Hote Avida Vinasha Jate Vedga Jaharo Karito Vedga Jahara Karito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Lokanath Lokira Jivana Lokanath Lokira Jivana Aha Prabhu Korodaya Deho More Padachaya Aha Prabhu Korodaya Deho More Padachaya Ye Bijangu Shuktri Bhuvana Ye Bijangu Shuktri Bhuvana Aha Prabhu Korodaya Deho More Padachaya Aha Prabhu Korodaya Deho More Padachaya Ye Bijangu Shuktri Bhuvana Ye Bijangu Shuktri Bhuvana Prabhupada Patite Pavana Prabhupada Patite Pavana Hare Gurudev Loyola Charana Hare Gurudev Loyola Charana Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thanks everyone. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to sing this prayer song. I don't know whether I made the justice for the song. Please forgive me if I have made any mistakes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I'm going to read something that I've written for Srila Prabhupada. Hold my hand and take me with you, O my spiritual master, for I am a fallen soul. I have forgotten why I was born. I have forgotten my eternal Father. I have forgotten the purpose of this life, and I have forgotten about my past. So please hold my hand and take me with you, O my spiritual master, for I am a fallen soul. I can see and hold many things. These things cloud my intellect. I believe these things are true. I believe this name and fame will stay with me forever. I believe it will make me happy. Do you see how foolish I am? So I beg to you again, hold my hand and take me with you, O my spiritual master, for I am a fallen soul. You said you will never die. You will live in your books. How blessed are we today, even decades after you left. We can still hear you, feel you, and see you. The only pending wish, I wish I could touch your lotus feet. Again, I pray to you with folded hands. Hold my hand and take me with you, for I am a fallen soul. That was it. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu and Mataji. Beautiful poem, Mataji. I mean, very heart-touching. So true. Hold my hand and take with you. We just want to pray that to Prabhupada. And Prabhu, you very melodiously, with the beautiful voice you sang Shri Guru Charana Padma. It was very, very nice. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Prabhu and Mataji. Next, we have Roshan Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. It's been really nourishing to listen to these wonderful offerings, from heartfelt offerings from all of the devotees. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. I don't think I fully understand contributions of Prabhupada, but for my own purification, I'll try to speak whatever I've heard from other devotees and the benefits that I have experienced in my personal life. So there's a verse that I heard from Gaurangpur. This is a verse that is used to describe the contributions of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, but I think a lot of it just applies to us in reference to Prabhupada. It says, Gurudam, Granthadam, Gauradhamdam, Namadam, Bhaktidam, Bhuridam. So it says that Srila Prabhupada has given us the scriptures, Granth. He has given us the gurus who live by those scriptures and teach us how to apply those scriptures in our lives. And then he has given us like places of pilgrimage, Gauradhamdam. In case of Prabhupada, he has given us like places of pilgrimage, not just in India, but here also. And then, yeah, he has definitely given us bhakti, devotees, and holy names of Krishna, which is non-different from Krishna himself. So I would just like to elaborate on that. I think one of the most important contributions of Prabhupada to the society in general, and for me also, has been the philosophy of bhakti. It is, Prabhupada has written like over 70 books, and there are like a lot of hours of conversations and lectures. Even though like they are like concentrated essence of all the Vedic scriptures, be it Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, Itihasas, but as devotees were telling, the expertise of a subject matter is revealed in the, so it is said that how well we understand a subject, that is demonstrated by how easily we can understand, explain it to a layman. And I feel one of the greatest contributions of Prabhupada was to take this concentrated essence of Vedas and then make it easily understandable to people from different social and cultural backgrounds and make it relevant in their life. So even though the bhakti conclusions of Vedas, it is very self-evident, but it is not hard. It is extremely hard to actually get to that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that there are so many philosophical schools that it's like Vedas are like an ocean with alligators of different ideas and schools of philosophies. So Prabhupada, like, backed by reasoning and logic, he equipped us with tools to be able to convince and answer the very common questions that are asked by, like, be it atheists, be it skeptics, be it impersonalist, gyanis, yogis. There are, it's like even a person who is very, like, relatively, who has just been introduced to bhakti through ISKCON and who has done some of the courses, he's easily able to, he's like never overwhelmed by all of these very common traits which are thrown around by atheists, like, have you seen God? This is all superstitious and things like that. So Prabhupada in that sense has very well equipped us, and that is very relevant for this time and age when we have like an educated, materially educated burgeoning masses, and people will just not accept anything at face value. If it is not irrational, people most probably are not going to accept it. So in such a time and age, Prabhupada has done the hard work of actually concentrating the essence of all of the Vedas and giving it to us with reasoning and logic, and also giving it to us in a form which is easily digestible by people like us. And actually, like, people all across, like people in different ages, people who are young, they also have something to get from bhakti. People who are in their middle age, people who are in their old age, everyone has something to gain from bhakti and contribute to the bhakti movement. And philosophy, I think, is Prabhupada's one of the foundational and one of the things that he spent a lot of time on, and presented it very simply. And all of this without compromising with the philosophical truths. It is said, I have heard that you should simplify something, any topic, it should be simplified as much as possible, but not further. So although he simplified it as for our understanding, but he never compromised with the essential principles of the regulative principles or the principles of bhakti. He was always firm on those, but simultaneously changing the details as per time, place, and circumstance. Based on, like, when he was in US, so based on the time, place, and circumstances, he changed a lot of details of how worship was performed, but never compromised on the details. I really appreciate that about Prabhupada, and it personally, it inspired me, and it created an inquisitiveness in me to learn more about scriptures. And I wish I can do justice to Prabhupada. He has written so many books. By reading all of his books, assimilating them, and then being able to contribute. And second most important contribution of Prabhupada, I feel, is there are a lot of schools of philosophy, but I feel philosophy cannot exist on its own. So Prabhupada has given us so many things. Personally, for myself, I feel even if I knew these things, when you come in an environment that is so surcharged with materialism, it is very difficult to actually live by that philosophy. So Prabhupada has given us culture around that. So he has given us festivals, he has given us rituals, he has given us devotee association. The entire infrastructure and framework which makes it possible for us to practice this philosophy. And as devotees have shared, like, when you come to US, no matter where you go, you'll always find a shelter, you'll always find devotee association who can inspire you to actually live by principles of bhakti and make progress spiritually. And Prabhupada definitely, holy names, Prabhupada, he has stressed time and again that essence of all of this, that 99% of spiritual progress it comes through holy names. And therefore Prabhupada has laid great emphasis on chanting of holy names. So not just philosophy and culture, but he also has given us a very rigorous sadhana of chanting holy names, 16 rounds of chanting holy names every day, which really strengthens us spiritually. I remember Prabhupada was once asked, this is a story I heard in a class, Prabhupada was asked, like, Prabhupada, there are already so many Vedic scriptures, why are you writing like so many more books? You have written over like 70 books. And Prabhupada's response was, I'm writing all of these books just to convince you to chant Hare Krishna. So he repeatedly, he hammered this point that chanting of holy names is the most essential and one that contributes most to our spiritual upliftment. Another distinct contribution of Prabhupada, I feel, is preaching. The preaching spirit that he imbibed from his spiritual masters, and he gave it to his disciples and in turn to us. There are a lot of wonderful spiritual organizations, but I feel like a lot of them are like closed spiritual organizations, where it's only people who have been born in that, they tend to benefit most from the knowledge of the scriptures. And so even though they do a lot of good social work, but philosophically, it's not like very much people who are outside of it, it's hard for them to benefit. But Prabhupada in turn, through his preaching spirit, he really lived what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Janma sarthak kari karo paropkar, that you have to distribute the message to others. And yeah, Prabhupada, I think, really took it to a very different level. A lot of saints and sages have tried to preach, but in this age, contribution of Prabhupada is unparalleled and very distinct in terms of the preaching spirit and opening it up, creating an open society where people from different background, and they come with their own samskaras. And it's always like, even if there are two people, it is said that there's constantly conflict between them. So creating an open society where people from different cultural, religious background come, so creating a house in which all devotees can live together, whole world can live together, it's a miracle in itself. Yeah, and Prabhupada, it just complicates things. He had to deal with issues of so many of his disciples, but he always kept the doors of ISKCON open for everyone, irrespective of their background. So another thing that like really strikes me about Prabhupada is his personality in himself. He was like living example of principles of Bhagavatam. He was a living Bhagavat. He has literally it can be seen that he had all the qualities that are mentioned in devotees. He was full of compassion. It's like you can even learn like life skills, like business skills from him. He was someone who used to chant 64 rounds of holy names daily, but all the while responding to queries, managing an organization that was as international organization as big as ISKCON at such an advanced age. So doing all of his sadhana, writing books, and despite that maintaining such a big, it's not possible unless you. Prabhupada says a devotee is like a well-oiled machine. He functions without any friction, and so he's able to do a lot more than people in general. So that is one thing that inspires me about Prabhupada a lot, and I wish to learn from him and be able to manage all my responsibilities and still be able to give to the world and contribute to the society of devotees. So I pray to devotees and to Prabhupada that I may take benefit from this movement as much as possible and become a fixed up devotee and then contribute to the society and make my life successful. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving me the opportunity.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. That was a very beautiful offering to Srila Prabhupada. And it's so true, no matter what, no matter where we are, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have Devotees Association. We're away from home, but still we have so many devotees there helping us. And Prabhupada has given us so many books and so much of knowledge. Thank you, Prabhu. That was a very beautiful offering. With that, next we have Prabhat Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I'm using the laptop speakerphone, so if it's not audible, just let me know. I can move to a headset. Nama Om Vishnu Padai Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deva Gaura Vani Pracharine Nirbeshesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarane. Dear Srila Prabhupada, kindly accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to you. I would like to express my sincere and humble gratitude to you for creating this worldwide organization, ISKCON, consisting of merciful devotees spread all over the world. I sincerely thank you for providing us the timeless gift of Vedic knowledge distilled to the highest essence in your books. You very painstakingly and scrutinizingly studied the Vedic literatures and the works of the previous acharyas while abandoning your family and living in very humble circumstances. Through your study and realization, you very mercifully reduced the complex and multi-branched tree of Vedic knowledge into a sweet fruit of that tree, and presented that sweet fruit in the form of a limited and easy to comprehend set of books containing all the Vedic essence. Not only have you made accessible to us a bona fide truth, but you have presented to us the highest and most perfect truth, following in the disciplic succession of the most magnanimous avatar of the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At the same time, seeing our fallen condition and weak determination, you mercifully enabled our access to that truth by authorizing a much easier and lenient regimen of devotional practice suited for this day and age. You provided simple and limited regulations and prescriptions, enabling everyone and anyone down from the grossly ignorant to the highly elevated to enjoy this sweet fruit and partake in the sublime process of bhakti. This incomprehensible opportunity of transforming oneself from the lowest of mankind to the highest, higher than even demigods, is made possible by your divine mercy. I incapably express my gratitude to you for that. You mercifully established a process in which one did not have to give up any material occupation and duty. One does not have to forsake family life and go to the forest or mountains to learn about the absolute truth. Instead, because of your system, the absolute truth comes to us in the form of your books and knowledge, distributed by devotees out of their causeless mercy in your loving service. I was practically never inclined towards seeking philosophical or spiritual knowledge concerning who I am. Is there a Supreme Lord? What is my relationship to Him? Why do I exist? Etc. I merely prayed to the demigods for material prosperity, to be able to do well in life, and never did these questions even cross my mind. Yet, somehow by your and the Lord's arrangement, towards the end of my college life, I was put in touch with a devotee who introduced me to your teachings. He showered his causeless mercy by personally spending time to educate me further in the science of the Supreme Lord as taught by you. Thus, I was mercifully connected to you and your teachings. I have been realizing since, in my minimal experience, as you said, that bhakti is so powerful that once you come in contact with it, it will automatically, forcefully drag you to completion. That keeps me hopeful. Through your own life example, you showed to us what it means to engage in devotional service and make the fulfillment of your Guru's instruction your life and soul. Your efforts, the troubles you took, and the subsequent results you achieved at your advanced age are very astonishing to me. However, despite knowing all this and having association of your devotees and books, I still remain a fallen soul, ignorantly happy being where I am without any serious determination to advance further. Sometimes I feel despondent and distressed on realizing this and contemplating on it, yet, nevertheless, I remain firmly ignorant and stagnant. Such great is my misfortune. Thus, on this most auspicious day of your divine appearance, I sincerely beg you to kindly never abandon me and forcefully drag this ignorant fool out of this world of nescience and misery. I humbly request you to kindly shower your blessings on me so that the firmly rooted ignorance in my heart may be dissipated by your causeless mercy, and I am able to realize and relish your true glories while engaging in your loving service. I request you to kindly bless me that I may attain the goal of life as defined and set by you in this very lifetime and do not have to suffer further. Begging for your mercy, your aspiring servant, Prabhat Jain. That's it, Mataji. And thank you, Veena Mataji and Satyasai Prabhu, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Prabhat Prabhu. That was a very nice offering, a really very heartfelt offering. And yes, we all beg for Prabhupada's mercy to get us out of this material world and progress in spiritual. Thank you, Prabhu. That was very beautiful. So continuing to report the preaching efforts for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, as Srila Prabhupada says, preaching is the essence of our movement and is approached in traditional and innovative ways. Our Sunday Love Feast It's a weekly program that is the cornerstone of our temple, where we continually introduce and engage new and exciting devotees in all stages of bhakti with kirtan, kids sloka recitation, Bhagavad Gita classes, Narsimarti, Gauravarti. Many new devotees are attending the Sunday feast. And with the book distribution, as Srila Prabhupada says, books are the basis of our entire movement. For the past year, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Sankirtan program has distributed 17 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam and over 800 copies of Bhagavad Gita as it is, and more than 50 small books. Devotees are finding innovative ways to distribute the books. We next have Prashant Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prashant Prabhu. Prabhu, you're muted.
Can you hear me now, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna devotees, please, on this auspicious occasion, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. We'll start with Prabhupada prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravan Charane, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashta Deshatani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Thank you, first of all, to Vinamapji, Jeshugadamapji and Satsang Prabhu for this kind opportunity to perform Vyasa Puja and express my gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada's books, our Vaishnava community, our divine association, and ultimately express my gratitude for the opportunity to practice Krishna consciousness in this world. Without all of these blessings and mercy, I would not be able to make the little progress that I have and be where I am today. Like many devotees have said, I'm not qualified to speak about Srila Prabhupada, but I will try in this message. Before, when I first started working after college, the first thing I would think of when I woke up is what work I have and how anxious I was. I had been somewhat prepared for the material world that we are in by attaining material qualifications through school. And I had some spiritual inclination by the mercy of my parents who had imparted a desire to practice some sort of spiritual life and yoga. But I had no direction and no understanding of why we do what we do and what we need to do and what the end goal was. Questions led me far, but nothing that I could hold on to. I was, like many souls, drifting in an ocean of miseries. By the mercy of devotees, I was introduced to Satyasara Prabhu, Jaiswara Mataji, and many devotees that are here today. After one class and thankfully a little bit of prasadam, I was entirely convinced that I needed to go back and that I needed to learn more about Krishna, his pastimes, and his teachings. Since then, I've had this opportunity over the past 6 years or so to learn about Krishna, to sing about Krishna, to serve Krishna, and to serve his devotees. This has transformed the perspective, my perspective on life and where I need to go. And though I have very, very far to go, I know that I am on the right path. The supreme cause of all causes is Krishna, and in Brahma Samhita we hear Ishvara Param Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadirada Govinda, Sarva Karana Karana. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin. He is the prime cause of all causes. And in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 19, Krishna famously says, Vahunam Janmanam Te Jnanamam Bham Prapadate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sam Atma Sudurabam. After many births and deaths, he who's actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and all that is. Such a great school is very rare. Both of these verses, when I was contemplating, helped made me realize a few things. So, in relation to Srila Prabhupada, Krishna is the cause of all causes. But for me personally, I would have never been exposed to Krishna consciousness, heard these verses, or the beautiful translations, or had the association of devotees, or the opportunity to practice and serve without Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada acting on Krishna's will is the cause for my very minute progression towards spiritual life. Srila Prabhupada is the cause for me being in this association today. And not just me, millions and millions of souls. When Srila Prabhupada decided he would journey to America and establish his count, in that moment, so many millions and millions of souls in the past, in the present, and in the future changed. He's given so many souls in the past. We pray for our ancestors, and we pray for our present life, and we pray for the future. And he's given all of these souls hope. And when I contemplated further, I thought about how Krishna says through many, many lifetimes, we get this opportunity of human birth. There are 7 billion or so human souls on our planet. And after thousands and thousands of lifetimes, me personally, I have been given this life. In this life, I have been fortunate to have access to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna consciousness. Thinking about it as how small I am in such a big in a big universe, it made me realize how fortunate I am in this ocean of misery to be able to find Srila Prabhupada and to be able to have direction and hope. Without this causeless mercy from Srila Prabhupada, I do not know where I would be. And that is this sobering thought. I could be anywhere else. And that's the reason I, like many devotees, feel eternally indebted to Srila Prabhupada. Krishna and Srila Prabhupada have made it extremely simple for us and for us to pursue Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada has made it even easier. Srila Prabhupada has given us the rules, he has given us the regulations, he has given us the Sadhu Sangha association, he has given us the means to perform devotional service, bhajana kriya, and he has given us books, he has given us preachers, he has given us the push through Guru, and he has given us the spark of have faith to be able to start our practice. He has given us prasadam, he's given us ultimately the holy name, and he's given us this movement. And through ISKCON, he's given us the ability to always be engaged in Krishna's service. When contemplating all of this, I realized that I'm fortunate to have been brought to a situation where I have all of this for me. But I also realized that even with all of this, I'm still struggling to practice Krishna consciousness. I'm struggling to decrease my anarthas, my faith is not fully steady, my taste for devotional service is not constant. I'm not detached from the material world, and I feel I'm very far away from achieving the stages of bhava or prema in bhakti yoga. I am not fully surrendered to Krishna. But though I am struggling, I'm not fearful. I'm not fearful because of Srila Prabhupada and because of the association of devotees. I'm constantly inspired. I'm energized by everything we do. Every service, every program, every energy spent by devotees comes from Srila Prabhupada, and that in turn increases my faith and it inspires me to continue this process of bhakti yoga and continue to chant the holy names. Especially today, to hear so many devotees express their heartfelt gratitude to Srila Prabhupada in this movement. It's very touching and heartwarming and humbling that, and increases the gratitude that I have for Srila Prabhupada. And all of this is all of what we have today is due to Srila Prabhupada's eternal and causeless mercy and Krishna's mercy. So as such, I bow down to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, and I would like to express my humble gratitude and appreciation for all of his teachings, his instructions, his stories, and his mercy. And I bow down to the lotus feet of all of our acharyas, gurus, and all of you devotees. And I sincerely thank Veena Mataji, Jaiswari Mataji, and Satyasara Prabhu again for encouraging me, engaging me, and to all of you devotees for giving me this opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada. I sincerely pray to Srila Prabhupada, Srimati Radharani, Lord Krishna, for all of our well-being and our continued progression in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prashant Prabhu, that was very beautifully summarized everything Prabhupada has given us. And Prabhupada has made our spiritual life so easy, given us all the instructions, all the regulative principles. And it's only up to us how we practice Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Prabhu. That was a very beautiful offering. Next, we have Hare Krishna. Next, we have Harinamamrita Prabhu and Sugopi Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Jai Srila Prabhupada. First of all, I want to thank Satyasara Prabhu and Jai Subhadra Mataji and a very sweet Veena Mataji to give us a chance to speak on Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of Krishna consciousness, and glorify him. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrita Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, was a teacher of teachers for the modern age, and he translated more than 70 Vedic books into English, and he was honored by many leading scholars, and he conveyed immense knowledge through his books. And one of his greatest contributions, Srila Prabhupada said, the main point is to follow the injunctions of the Vedic scriptures that recommend chanting the holy name in the age of Kali. And there is no difference between Krishna and his name, who has invested all his energies into his name in this Kali Yuga. Srila Prabhupada used to chant with so much purity that Krishna used to dance on his tongue. Chanting with concentration and meditation on Krishna will revive our lost relationship with him. Srila Prabhupada laid so much importance on following the 4 regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds daily, and reading and hearing Bhagavad Gita, Krishna book, and Bhagavatam, associating with pure, humble devotees, and rendering devotional service to the deities. Srila Prabhupada always will remain with us in his books, and through them would remain present as a spiritual master. He published the monthly magazine Back to Godhead, which he called the backbone of this movement of ISKCON. And he launched the ISKCON Life membership program that enrolled thousands of members. He built major temples in Mumbai and Vrindavan and founded a spiritual city at Mayapur. All became international sites of pilgrimage. He also set up farm communities to teach simple living and high thinking, emphasizing cow protection and dependence on Lord Krishna and the nature. Srila Prabhupada also circled the globe 14 times, starting from the late age of 70, visiting 24 countries, preaching with determination and inspiring his followers. He saved us all from the danger of this ocean of mercy through his kirtan, lectures, Mahamantra, and books. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to all the devotees. While listening to your sincere offerings for Prabhupada, I started getting the goosebumps. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. With this, I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, who has opened my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge. My obeisances also are unto you, all of Vaishnava devotees, as I beg for your mercy. Namo Om Vishnu Pradaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachari Nirushesha Shunyavadi Goshyatra Deshatardine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dear devotees, today we are meeting here as we are celebrating the 125th anniversary of the appearance of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Of course, he's also my eternally my grandfather, who was born in Calcutta in the year 1896. He was initiated by his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in the year of 1932. At a very advanced age, he gave up his peaceful life in Vrindavana and traveled alone to America in 1936. His mission was to fulfill the order of his spiritual master to spread Krishna consciousness, the love of God, to the English-speaking people of the world. He was honored with the title Bhaktivedanta by the Society of Gaudiya Vaishnavas in the year 1939. He also started publishing Back to Garden magazine in the year 1944. All glories to our eternal spiritual Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, who has kindly given us so many aspiring Vedic scriptures and scriptural books for ISKCON temples to achieve our ultimate goal of life, love of Krishna. We often describe his extraordinary achievements, which includes initiating hippies disciples. He was full of saintly qualities which reflect on his inner moods and deep meanings. He was fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness and showed us the path to Lord Sri Krishna, the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. He possesses unique qualities to personify the teachings he presented. He should deepen our appreciation. We should deepen our appreciation for his achievements, his mission, and his teachings by faithfully meditating on his guidelines. Srila Prabhupada is a transparent medium between Lord Sri Krishna and the material world. I am inspired by his transcendental qualities and character, which sends shivers up my spine and encourages me to continue in my quest to become Krishna conscious. His Krishna consciousness is so deep and broad that he possesses the ability to engage everybody and everything in the service of the Lord Sri Krishna. Srila Prabhupada is recognized and honored because he is a true friend to everyone. He perfectly followed in the footsteps of his previous acharyas. He exhibited compassion on a level equal to the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. As time passed and his preaching movement grew, he was never too busy to be personally concerned for everyone, be he a devotee or non-devotee. He traveled tirelessly throughout the world, circling the globe 13 times in 12 years, to give us all living beings an opportunity to receive Lord Chaitanya's message of deliverance by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna. As we become absorbed in the power of Srila Prabhupada's teaching, who, like the sun, illuminates the sky and removes the darkness of this age of Kali. Where there is Krishna's pure devotee, there is no nescience. Hare Krishna, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitya Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Back to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu and Mataji. Both of you all beautifully summarized Srila Prabhupada's contributions. It was so purifying to hear. Thank you so much for such a heartfelt Vyasa Puja offering to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Mataji. We next have Rani Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I would like to start my Vyasa Puja offering with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So, every year on the appearance day of the spiritual master, all disciples write an offering expressing their appreciation. The celebration of that day is called Vyasa Puja because the reason being the spiritual master is a representative of Srila Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedic literature. And also, instead of saying birthday, we say the word appearance because it said that liberated souls are not born and do not die as ordinary people do. So, going right ahead, this is my offering to Srila Prabhupada for this year 2021. I'm going to illustrate my journey of Krishna consciousness today, so please bear with me. One fine day, as me and my husband were driving to the streets of New York downtown city, we stopped at a traffic light. As I rolled down my window, I heard the Harinam Sankirtan by Hare Krishna devotees with their mridangas and kartals blissfully chanting the Mahamantra. My eye caught the attention of this Mataji, who was standing right at the pedestrian crosswalk and was smiling at us. When she looked at me, it felt as if she was looking inside my soul. I still remember her eyes. It spoke volumes. I could see the eternal peace inside her heart and soul that radiated through her eyes. As these thoughts were running in my mind, my husband beside me said, Hare Krishna devotees look so peaceful, don't they? It's this peace and bliss that they have, which everyone in this world is looking for, the peace that we all want in our lives. Now, that, my friends, is the impact that I'd like to reiterate a moment of association with a pure practicing devotee has on others. Again, as always, we moved on with our lives. To give a brief glimpse into my world, my life was similar to that of a boat dancing to the waves of ocean, the material nature. I moved from India to USA thinking all my problems will stay behind. It would somehow magically disappear and change my mind and circumstances. But that didn't happen. That's okay. After a series of misfortunes, one after another, somehow the Lord took mercy on me and my condition and sent my fellow colleague, a Vaishnavi, who introduced me to the heavenly world of Krishna consciousness. I said to myself, this sounds better than anything that's happening in my life right now. So what have I got to lose? So I thought I'd give it a try. And I went there with no expectations at all. I was pleasantly surprised how time flew by. I used to sit there for hours listening to Prabhuji's pravachanams, chanting, singing bhajans, and eating sumptuous prasadam. I still remember the Prabhuji giving me second and third serving of prasadam. May Lord Krishna shower his unending mercy on the devotee couple who fed me as if I were their own. The compassion, kindness the devotees showed had left a profound impression on me. It got me thinking, if one devotee is so merciful, how merciful must the Supreme Lord be? The next 10 years of my life, I caught up in the mire of life. While my life was going in a fast forward mode, in the backdrop, I always felt a yearning of the peace I first saw in that beautiful Mataji's eyes, compassion and kindness of the devotee couple that I so dearly missed in this materialistic world. We are all trying to look busy, feel beautiful, show off our material opulences, trying to outbeat one another in this mad rat race. But really, what we are all trying to do is things that give us an illusion of the problems going away in this material world. But do they really go away? No, they don't. At least not for me. So are we all okay? We are all not okay, not in every way, no. I was determined to find peace and happiness. With this mindset, 10 years later, I again started my quest in search for the higher being, the higher power. I wanted to learn what yoga meant. What is the right meaning of yoga? And what is the right way to do yoga? So I joined a yoga workshop offered by a reputed guru. That 4-day workshop, they taught me kriyas, meditation. I was so happy after the workshop. I started practicing the kriya diligently every day at home. And I did start to see and experience the results. However, there was a void in my heart. I was still not satisfied. The unfulfilled yearning in my heart was still lingering around, which is when I took the shelter of the Lord and prayed to Him to show me the way. Surprisingly, on New Year's Day, my husband took me to a kirtan by famous Prabhu, His Grace, Bada Haridas Swami Maharaj. My husband mistook him for some singer, but Lord wanted to me be there, I suppose. See the amazing coincidence, right? That divine blissful kirtan that day by His Grace Bada Haridas Swami Maharaj, I still remember it. It reignited my spiritual thirst. Few months later, given this 2020 COVID crisis we all went through, I was able to connect with the Hare Krishna Temple of Austin congregation online and found my Siksha Guru, His Grace Satyasara Prabhu, and became a practicing devotee Vaishnavi. It's here finally that my spiritual quest stopped. My yearning was gone. I was completely satisfied, and I had this feeling in my heart that I'm home. This is my home. This is the place I was searching for all my life. It's a feeling that's hard to miss, you know. So continuing further, here I was seated in the train along with my fellow devotees, Prabhujis, Matajis, whose destination is Goloka, whose driver is our Siksha or Diksha Guru, as Kannan Prabhuji once rightly stated in his analogy. Since then, my life as a devotee has been a non-stop roller coaster ride that I'm thoroughly enjoying. Krishna consciousness is not a religion as some may misinterpret. It's a lifestyle. It changes you in ways you cannot even fathom to understand. Long story short, on the instruction of my Siksha Guru, here I am writing this Vyasa Puja offering and reading it to all you wonderful devotees present right here today. My Siksha Guru is God sent to me. As stated in the scriptures, he guides, mentors, provides instructions that help us with our anartha nivritti. He is relentlessly working 24/7 for all of us with the only aim of taking us to Goloka with him, breaking you free from this material world, wanting to show you what true bliss really is. He keeps telling me, Rani Mataji, remember, I'm taking all of you to Goloka. I'm not leaving any of you behind. Now, tell me, who can have this level of commitment to you, at least in this material world? I have never come across such. I am truly blessed, Prabhu, to have you as my Siksha Guru. Continuing further, our gurus represent or come from the Guru Parampara, disciplic succession from His Grace Srila Prabhupada, who arrived in USA on September 17, 1965, with a single mission of spreading the love of Krishna, reawakening the Krishna consciousness within every jiva. Hadn't His Grace Srila Prabhupada, who is the pioneer of the Krishna consciousness movement, had come to the Western world on the bequest of his Guru's instructions, today I wouldn't have found Krishna and be speaking here in front of you. I can speak today for millions of fallen souls who might have endured arduous journeys in their lives and have found Krishna consciousness to be a beacon of light in their lives. Indeed, Srila Prabhupada is rightly called Gauranga's commander-in-chief for fulfilling his mission of spreading the Harinam Sankirtan movement. I am eternally indebted to him. Jai Srila Prabhupada. I'd like to end with this. It's important to note that we all are so much more than the bad things that happen to us. You can't wait forever until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy. It's okay if you're lost. We are all a little lost. And that's all right, as long as you're sheltered in Krishna consciousness. Please pardon me for any mistakes of mine. I'd like to sincerely thank you all, Vaishnavis and Vaishnavas, for listening to me so patiently. And I'd like to thank Satisara Prabhu for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. That was really a very nice offering, Mataji. It was so beautiful. And your journey from New York to here in Austin is just so wonderful. Thank you for sharing with us. With that, devotees continuing to report the preaching efforts for Srila Prabhupada, for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has brought countless lives together through ISKCON, and our digital strategy aims to do the same. We have our own website, a digital platform for preaching and connecting with our community with more than 1,000 unique visitors each month. Umesh Prabhu and Neha Mataji are managing the website and finding innovative ways to attract new devotees. And with respect to social media outreach, we have raising awareness and spreading the message of Krishna consciousness through our flyers, personalized notifications, and individual outreach. Thousands of people each week across various media platforms, including a core of 700 people, are routinely engaged in a community of caring and loving devotees. And Sharanagati is our monthly newsletter compiled of articles from all the ages to celebrate the glories of our devotees. Srila Prabhupada and Krishna in today's world. Amit Prabhu, Amrita Mataji, along with the other devotees, have been writing such wonderful Krishna conscious articles. The path is long, and there is lots yet to be done to spread Krishna consciousness far and wide. For this, we pray to receive Srila Prabhupada's unlimited blessings by his divine mercy so that we may become humbler than a blade of grass while executing our services. Let us worship Srila Prabhupada by preaching, following Srila Prabhupada's instructions, and making Srila Prabhupada's movement even more successful while experiencing the unlimited joy of sharing Krishna consciousness. Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. With that heartfelt, sincere thank you to all the devotees for signing up for Glorification of Srila Prabhupada today and presenting such beautiful gratitude and offerings to Prabhupada. Thank you, Satisara Prabhu and Jai Subhadra Mataji, for giving us this opportunity so that we all can come together and glorify Srila Prabhupada on this very auspicious 125th birth anniversary of Srila Prabhupada. With that, now over to Radha Damodar Prabhu to make the announcements. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for your wonderful coordination of the whole program. Thank you. And we have few announcements, quick announcements. We had 2 birthdays this week. We have the birthdays of Ashmita, Veena Mataji's and Kalyan Prabhu's daughter, and Meenakshi Mataji. So let's chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 3 times for their benefits. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So besides that, we have on the occasion of 125th birth anniversary of Srila Prabhupada, the government of India has released a commemorative coin of the value of rupees 125 in the honor of founding Acharya of ISKCON. A booklet on the contributions and achievements of Srila Prabhupada will be featured with the coin, each coin in the commemorative box. This coin will be composed of silver and copper. If anyone would like to place an order for this coin, kindly contact Jai Subhadra Mataji. If you have any questions, please let me know. Hare Krishna. Back to you, Veena Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. With that, devotees, we conclude our very special Sunday feast where we glorify Srila Prabhupada and we are seeking blessings from Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all for joining today's Sunday feast program. We will see you all next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bye-bye from temple.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you,
Prabhupada ki
Mataji.
jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.